Hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to ReefGrrl Live. I'm so glad you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, ask a few questions, maybe show us what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. Yeah, sorry. I usually mute my mic while all of the intros are going on in case I do something like drop my phone on the desk or whatever, so apologies. I won't start all over except to say welcome, everybody. Glad you could make it here. This is the fourth or the last Sunday of the month, so that's why we're on a global live stream starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, and that's the time here in South Central Ontario where I am. And if you saw my reminder video, you would have seen the banner streaming across the bottom that indicated time at 1 p.m. Eastern equivalents around the world. So glad you all could make it. This is cool. We've got 10 people in here, so that's pretty awesome. Let's say hi. Hey, Benny, Filipino Reefers here. Welcome. True Skills 710 says he'll join. That's great. And Aaron, you should have got the email, and if not, just let me know and I'll resend it. Ugly Man's Reefing. Hey, Shane. I apologize. I got your name wrong the last time you were here, and I think I called you Sean. So apologies for that. I do my best to get names right. So Shane, glad you could make it. The Herm 14, welcome. And there's Taryn's Little Ocean. Taryn, you've been getting clownfish. That's cool. More and more. It's starting to grow. Dell's Reef is here. Hey, Ryan Calabrese. Thank you for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. I appreciate that. And Paul, UK Reefer. Nice to see you. Diacanthus Reef, we can hear you now. Awesome. Paul says, love this start time here in the UK. That's good. It was hard to try and find a time that would work everywhere that I was going to be able to commit to, because I've said it before, I am not a morning person. So anything earlier in the morning, I'd be unreliable. I wouldn't be prepared. My brain doesn't even really wake up till about 2 in the afternoon. So I'm here early for me, right? Algae Warrior. Love that channel name. Glad you could make it. So we have Ryan Shackleton in the waiting room, SPS Reefer, and I'll bring him in, and then I'll do a couple announcements and updates, and we will see what Ryan got that was new. He did send me some photographs of his tank, and if we do have someone come in and show their tank and while they're talking, I will upload those photographs and then share them with you guys. So Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. You look like you're outside.
I am, yeah. Sat on my patio. It's really, really nice and sunny in UK today. So thought I'd sit on the patio for this stream.
Yep, that's nice. Ours is mud. It's supposed to be concrete at some point, but they still haven't. There's still a mountain of dirt right behind our house too. So it's kind of nice for privacy, but not much else. Hey, Peter M. Ugly Man's. It's 3 a.m. here in Melbourne. Oh, gee. Well, I guess there will be parts of the world where it's just not going to work. So I appreciate your commitment, Shane. That's cool. So I've got a couple pictures to show you guys of stuff that's been happening. First of all, tank update. I've been in touch regularly, of course, with the LFS guy, Nick, and looking for updates on the tank. And I guess the tank builder had been out of commission for a while because a tank fell on his leg. So I really hope he's okay. I mean, obviously, but anyway, regardless of whether I'm getting my tank built by him or not, it's one of those things that's a terrible accident to happen. And Nick casually mentioned that the tank weighed 600 pounds. And he also used the word shattered, but I don't know whether the tank shattered or the leg shattered. So I'm afraid to ask because my tank weighs about 600 pounds. So I don't know if it was my tank that fell on the guy's leg, but anyway, we'll see. I guess I'll find out once we hear a little bit more about what's been going on. So that's kind of all the progress I can report at this moment. And I don't even know if it's progress. It might be a step back for all we know. So yeah, yikes. So we brought, the reef was completely empty, the temporary reef. And here it is in the garage. You can see it's not drilled. This is a 20-year-old Miracles aquarium. It's starfire glass on the 3 sides and regular glass on the back. It's not drilled. There's a sticker on the bottom that said it was built in August of 2020. So it is doing amazing considering the age of it. Never let me down once. And I took some pictures of the stand because I could see there was a lot of corrosion. Where's that picture? This is sideways, but this is the front rail. You can see in the foreground there, all the rust and everything on it. That I think was just from salt water dripping down on the stand. And then here's a picture of one of the side rails at the bottom. It's actually upside down. So I did my best not to get the garbage can full of garbage in there, but you can see all the other junk that's in a garage because we have no garden shed yet, because we have no backyard, because there's a big pile of dirt there. So I'll be so glad when the dirt is gone. So that tank really, really held up well, obviously, and the stand was original to it as far as I know. So that just speaks to the quality of the way it was built. So the plan is to clean it up and sell it. I might put one of the 2 canister filters with it. I have a Fluval 406 and a Sun 302 something. And the Sun is the one that has the little UV bulb in it. So I might put that together as a package for like $100. The filter cost me about 150, and the tank, as far as I'm concerned, somebody could have it for free. But if I put the filter with it, I might be able to get $100. That's another coral, right? So we'll see. Once all the crazy is over with, and it's actually possible to have somebody come on your property and into your garage, I might put it on Kijiji. But it has really done well. And then the second thing that's happened, I have a video, if I can remember which one it is now. Is this my, no, it's down here. Here it is right here. I have to share my screen to play this. So let me just get that set up. I believe this is the video of about my aquascape. So let's just see if I can get that underway here. Video file. And if it's not, I'll stop it right away because I can't, my mic won't work while the video is running. So what does this mean? Well, this means the rocks are done. I've removed everything from this table because next up I have to do some cleaning and organizing of the shelves so I can make room for more stuff. But anyway, now the rocks are done. They're cooking. That surface stuff I skim off using just a cup, sink it into the water, get rid of it, then top the water back up. Did that one the other day. These have been in for roughly a month, so they're getting there. And if we walk over here, we have all of the arches are cooking in this tank right here. So everything fit. I rearranged the power heads to make sure there's good flow everywhere. Added some bacteria, and I'll put the lid on again later and leave those there as long as I need to. Over here are more of the Aquascape rocks that I put together. Normally there's a lid on here, and those brown rocks are the ones that have been cooking since August. So right now they're probably providing biological filtration to this whole sump system. The reef is in here, and in here, and in the back there are more rocks that have been cooking since August, plus a whole bunch of biological media in bags back there. So yeah, up top we have some sand from the other tank, from the holding tank, just to contribute to the bacterial population here. That's where all of the media bags used to be. And I have put all of the media that was in the filter canisters into this system. So it's running well. Corals aren't ideal because I still have to figure out some flow. The ones on the frag racks aren't in an ideal situation. But anyway, making some progress. Finally. I just wish the tank would get here. Yeah, I do. It's interesting because I was at first worried that my tank would be here before this thing was cycled, and I'd be faced with having it in my garage for a month, but that's not going to happen. SUV porridge. SUV porridge, is ReefGrrl talking right now and showing her tubs? Oh, indeed. What bacteria are you seeding the new rock with? Paul, UK Reefer. I used Brightwell Start XLM. Is that a Microbacter Start XLM?
I'm on a live stream, so please.
I'm just going to take my, there. Yeah, so Microbacter Start XLM. I also used some of Big Al's generic bacteria in a bottle because I wanted something that had some variety to it, and I wasn't picky about which type it was. The media that came in from the canisters is absolutely loaded with bacteria because it's been running the temporary reef tank for almost 9 months. And I had no problems in there, well, until I lost my herbivore fish. I started getting algae, but other than that, everything was fine. There were no issues with ammonia or nitrite or any cycle problems. So it was absolutely loaded with bacteria. So putting it all in this system, I think, is really going to keep it stable while I'm waiting for the tank to be set up and, well, to arrive and going from there. I use that too. And stability. Algae Warrior said he used stability. I have some stability. I haven't put it in yet. I'm kind of waiting to see if I feel like I need to once I add another 320 some gallons of water when the tank arrives, because the sand in there will be new, although the rocks will be from these tubs and from the sump. So once all of that's out of there and in the main tank, I'll just do some observation for a little bit. I'm hoping I don't have any problems with any kind of a cycle issue. I can't imagine I will, but you just don't know until it happens, right? Because it's going to be 300 gallons of new water. It's going to be 240 pounds of new sand, and I won't know till I put it in there whether it's going to need to go through a process. So if I feel it does, then I will add bacteria to it. Hey, Abyan Kabir. I find ATM colony works best. Yep. There's so many choices now. This is the first tank I've set up where there are so many choices for bacteria. It's pretty amazing compared to in the past. It was the raw shrimp thing, right? And when I cycled the first tank I ever had with the sump, which was probably 5 or 6 years ago, that was really the only option you had other than stuff like stability, which was kind of at that time sold more as what you would use in, say, a freshwater tank when you're doing a huge water change or a huge clean out, or was it Prime? Might have been Prime. But there was one of those types of bacteria. Oh, and what the heck is that stuff called that really, really smelled bad? Microbial something or other. You take the lid off and it just was rotten eggs all over the place. I used to put that a lot in my Oscar tank when we did a big cleanup. They were dirty fish, and periodically we'd really have to clean up the gravel, and I would use that stuff then. Microbe lift, that's what it was. So those were kind of really the only options, and I never really knew whether that stuff would be suitable for seawater. So yeah, whoever that is, they're going to go away. SUV Porridge, I'm seeding my rocks in a canister filter for my future bigger tank. Hope it gets enough time to seed. That's a really good idea. And the first place I heard of swapping out sponge and other types of filter media from canister filters, because, you know, normally they run with an array of sponges. But when you apply them to salt water, they're a great opportunity to add biological filtration in the form of media that isn't going to trap detritus like sponge does. It still does collect detritus, but not nearly as bad. And the first place I heard about that was Fish of Hex. And this was when I had my 29-gallon cube, and it would have been 5 or 6 years ago. I took the step of swapping out all of the filter floss and sponges for Seachem Matrix. I didn't do it all at once because that would have been a bad idea. I did it in stages. Every time I did some maintenance on the canister, I think I took 3 times to remove a section of sponge and replace it with media. And in the meantime, I hung bags of media in my tank. It looked gross and ugly. That was before YouTube, though, so I don't have any video of it. But that's how I kind of preceded it before it went into the canister, and it worked really well. I was nervous because I didn't know. I wasn't sure. It never occurred to me to do that until he had a video about it. Will you do a bacterial DNA through aquabiomics before you start the tank? I would if I had access to it, but I'm in Canada, and there's no way to do it because they only operate within the lower 48. And I did check into it, though, when I first heard about it, and I think it's a great idea. However, I'm not sure, without recommendations, I'm not sure what I would add, how I would make the choice about what to add. So I have to look a little further into it. I'm hoping they would say, okay, you're short of this, try this product to bring that up, or, you know, these 3 products will give you that balance, because I don't know how I would decide that without some recommendations from them. So Peter M, I use Protibio products. Yeah, I've heard those are good. I'm interested in that PNB and yellow snow bacterial product. PNB, I haven't heard of that. Yellow snow. Uh-huh. I think I might know what you're talking about. Hey, Skinner JW. Thanks for the email. I'll be watching today. Long weekend of fishing. I'm exhausted. It's all that fresh air. You know, we've spent the winter inside, and as soon as you get out walking and all that oxygen, it just tires you right out. Okay, who else have we got in here? I hope I said hi to everybody. I don't know if I've got other pictures. I mean, I can show you pictures of the rocks. Here's an example of one of the arches. that I built out of small pieces. I have a total of 12. And there's my work table, getting all organized with some in progress and all the different sizes of rocks. Here's one of the arches that I kind of added a curved swim through on the one side. I don't really know how I'm going to put them in the tank yet. I'm kind of playing around with a few ideas. And oh, this picture first. This is what these are the modular pieces. Each one you can see comes up on an angle, and I made them as curved as I could, but that is really hard, let me tell you. And this is how they go together. And the cool thing is I can make tri-arches as well. If I take 3 of them and kind of put them equally spaced and meeting in the center, it looks really cool. So I thought I might put one of those right at the front of the tank and put one of my favorite big polyp corals there. I don't know, have to decide. I think that's what I got for you. So Ryan, did you get any new corals this week?
I did. I picked up a new millipora. Just sort of bluish with like a lightish green centre and light green polyps. It's actually getting more and more fluffier. As we only put him in yesterday, but when I come home from work today, it was very, very fluffy, which is a good sign.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the only coral I've put in actually since I was last on the stream, which is unusual for me. You know,
You've been holding
back. I've been holding back.
I'm gonna move some of your pictures to. Here's one, and you can maybe tell us about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan sent me some pictures right before the stream, and I just uploaded them now. Okay, where is it? Can't find it. Let's cancel and go back. Sometimes this works great, and other times I totally lose track of where everything is. I need today. Oh, I guess it helps if I actually pay attention to the fact of whether it's a video clip or a picture. Brain dead. See, I told you, my brain doesn't start working till 2 o'clock. There we go. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the tank as it looks now. That's literally, I just literally took that picture, about 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
So the one on the left-hand side at the bottom, which is sort of just above the jack-o'-lantern, that's the new millipora that we put in yesterday. You can, to the eye, it's like a greenish centre, but it's got very, very bright blue tips. So it'd be interesting to see when that settles down. Will be interesting to see how he colours up. The one just behind it, which with the bright yellow tips, that one actually lost a little bit of colour for the last 3-4 weeks. But since I've dropped the alkalinity down, if you remember, I used to run my alkalinity at 10. We were getting good growth and all right colour, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I've dropped the alkalinity down now, and he's a classic example of a coral that just bounces back with colour. So I'm really pleased with that. And the top one, that's another sunset millie, which is as bright as anything.
It's so hard to get that across in pictures, isn't it?
Yeah. The jack-o'-lantern glowing as usual. That's never changed.
Yeah.
Just under the millie there.
When I moved my reef, I realized that whatever was happening in the temporary tank, and I think it's the lighting, my jack-o'-lantern was almost gone.
Really?
And there were only a few areas of it that were still orange, and I thought, okay, the rest was skeleton. It wasn't It wasn't as if it had a whole bunch of algae or anything growing on it. And so as soon as I took it into the 150 downstairs, I tilted that whole rock, and it's kind of in the middle. So the jack-o'-lantern area, I've noticed, is starting to spread out again and fill in all the different sections. So man, I'm so glad of that.
Mm.
Let's show another picture here. Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah. So you've got on the top there the bright pink coral. You can see just at the top right. That's an ORC red planet. So he's actually growing and getting pinker
Wow.
by the day, and really nice green just in the centre. The one to the left is a rainbow tenuous, which lost a little bit of colour when we first put him in, but again starting to bounce back again now, which is really good. And then the one just underneath the red planet, he actually started off like a real lightish pink colour, but actually now he's going like a rainbow. So we don't know if he's a rainbow spath or something along that nature, but he's getting a lot of colour on his base.
Nice.
And then the one to the left of it is we think it's a bubblegum miller. Looking at it, the way it's colouring.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they all seem to be colouring up now since I've just dropped that alkalinity down just a little bit. We're getting a lot more colour, and polyp extension as well is really good. So I'm
Yeah.
really pleased with the way it's going at the moment. We haven't had too many losses, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Cool.
pleased.
I've got True Skills in the waiting room. Why don't I bring him in? And Ryan, are your lights still on your tank? Someone in the chat is asking about it.
Oh, they'll switched off by now. Yeah, they switch off at 6 o'clock. So
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, more people. Hey, True Skills, Aaron.
Well, hello.
Hello there. Let me say hi to a few more people in the chat before they scroll up too far. We have T40 Reefer. Glad you could make it, T40. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, SUV Porridge was just asking Ryan whether you had a tank, but I know that your lights turn off early. And speaking of lights, I made that decision. I've set up my lighting schedule so that the tank lights come on at 11 a.m. and they're going to go off at 11 p.m. because that is more in line with when I'm actually up and about to see it. Rather than going from 9 to 9, because so many times I used to be doing stuff in the tank and the lights would be about to go off. So that'll also work for live streams, because if the lights are on later, then at least as a background, it'll be something to look at.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
Yep. Hey, producer Reef, JB Aquatics. Relatable. My brain doesn't start working until cup of coffee number 3. Yeah.
Sounds normal.
Yeah. Hey, Chase V. Chase, I'm pretty sure you're in the email list. So can you check your email to see whether I sent you the link? And if not, I will resend it. And love to see how the 250 is going. Okay. I think that's everybody in the chat here. Somebody had a question about cement. SUV, What do you use to glue your rocks together? Some kind of cement. Yeah, I use the eMarco 400. And I used that for my Red Sea XL425. The very first time I ever used anything to make an aquascape. Before that, it was just piling rocks up because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And
you can also do like what Than did with his Than and why can I never remember the gentleman's name from BRS when they put their rockscape together.
Ryan.
Yeah. When they put their rockscape together, as they're gluing it using cyanoacrylate, standard super glue, just thick gel stuff. Pour sand over it as you're gluing it. So instead of getting the nasty white globby super glue look, you get a natural look because you've coated it with sand.
Yeah, that's something I'm planning to do when everything comes out of the bins before I put it in the tank.
Good.
because there are a few areas where I was not so tidy with the cement. But using the eMarco 400 made a lot of sense because I learned how to work with it. So I didn't want to switch. I assume most of them are similar, but I didn't want to switch. I didn't want to get into acrylic rods or any of that stuff because that's
Yeah,
too
you got to
much.
drill rock and then all that.
It's risky and there's too much work. Plus, you have to be able to plan ahead better.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of, work at it as you go. I have a general idea what I want, and yeah, I go from there. Okay, who we got? We got Cue Balls and Chase V. Well, let's bring those guys in and we can all have a chat. There's
Outstanding. Ooh.
Cue Balls and there's Chase V. Hey, Chase, a garden,
Yeah, I'm in my backyard for a second. I'm just watering the plants.
right?
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
about to start my community garden up here shortly. I got a couple neighbors that have chipped in on seeds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's Aaron. That's you talking?
correct.
Yep. Cool. Everybody's tanks are looking nice. I'm so envious.
You'll get yours up and coming. It just takes
Yeah.
time. It
Yeah.
drives me nuts when I don't have them.
Yeah.
Looks can be deceiving, Cindy.
Oh, I know.
I like your tank. I like your scape there, Q.
Thank you.
You going
You know-
SBS dominant?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the tank's only about 5 months in, and
Oh, okay.
right now I'm softy and LPS. I had some tester acros in there, and yeah, they were doing okay. And then I'm currently fighting a dino breakout. So
Ooh. Yeah, have fun with that. I hate those.
Hey, I got a new coral the other day. You want to see it?
Yes.
Okay. It's only a 12-second video. I took it with.
Let's see what you got. What you got.
Okay, this is my favorite coral, and I lost my last one when I believe fluconazole killed it.
See, that's
So
why I
this
don't
is-
mess with the chemicals.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that is a Heliofungia with a green mouth. This is in the new Reef. I don't know if you guys could hear that.
Long tentacle plate?
It is, yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah, I got some nice new little ones. Oh, I swear if I catch that coral beauty doing that again.
Uh-oh.
That's like 3 or 4 times I've seen it over like the last week. And I understand they say with caution, but it looks like he's actively snipping at my snail and my clam. And that's not good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's coral is one thing, but clams and stuff like that just make me leery.
See, and here's the problem. And this is the one reason why I wanted to come back on the show, like, what was it, week and a half ago, 2 weeks, after I needed to charge my phone, because we were on the subject of significant others and their role within, us putting the tanks together.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
well, that coral beauty just happened to be the one that my wife went, ooh, that looks beautiful. I want it. Oh, well, okay. I hope it doesn't kill anything in the tank.
Yeah, and sure enough.
Oh, well, I mean, it's actively picking on algae and rocks, and there was some algae on the clam when it came in, so I don't know if it's actively scraping that off or it's actively, ripping at mantle, but I don't see any damage. But this clam has not been open as much as it was at the store.
Wow. Yeah, it could be.
Like nowhere near what it was at the store.
SUV Porridge asked to zoom in on Cue Ball's Reef, and that's why I have it up here, even though it's True Skills who's talking, just in case anybody's getting as confused as me. Yeah, that's one of those things,
and I finally got her to pick something, and I happened to get lucky with the Aqua SD doing their live sale right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It Can I throw out a shameless plug?
Okay, go for it.
If you guys don't know and you guys are watching, go check out Aqua SD. They are currently rolling a 2-day live sale. Stuff is significantly discounted.
And where are they located?
San Diego.
Cool. There you go, all you West Coast people. Or I guess if they ship.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
hey,
ship.
Hey, BC.
And they ship. It's accurate. I mean, the next one I got coming in on Friday, I'm gonna do an unboxing on it and throw it in the tank and see how it goes.
Nice. The
'Cause
Herm says, oh, go ahead.
Your camera's going funny.
Is it? Am I going
Yeah.
all? Yeah, I should say I'm on Wi-Fi again. I'm not actually hooked up hardwired. Once the
Okay.
tank comes, though, I will be. I look
mean,
normal to
your
me.
audio's coming in perfectly clear, but on my end, like it's black static screen.
Oh, really? Anybody else?
It's just flashing it like 1 or 2 frames, but it's doing it over like 30 or 40 seconds.
Weird.
Looks
Yeah.
okay to me.
Yeah, you're good on my end, Cindy.
All right,
Okay.
then it's probably my Wi-Fi then.
Yeah, the Herm said he had to sell his Coral Beauty for that same reason. Started nipping at polyps after having her for 4 years.
And and like right as you were saying that, it was creeping up on the clam, and I was gonna zoom in with the phone.
You
But
want
yeah,
me to put that up?
next time it creeps by, I'll pull it in closer,
Oh.
see if she does anything.
All right.
I think that's funny that you said that your wife picked out that Coral Beauty because mine did the exact same thing with the Coral Beauty.
Yep. She saw it. She was like, "Oh, that looks beautiful. I like that fish." And I'm like, "Damn it."
Yeah, you would pick that one. Exactly.
Why couldn't you pick the powder brown that was in the tank with it? That was literally powder brown, smaller than that Coral Beauty.
Perfect size.
It was healthy and fat from Petco, of all places. And
Oh,
it did not
boy.
have the ick on it.
Boy, oh boy.
But she wanted that one.
BC says sometimes with angel species, a pair or a harem keeps them distracted from coral eating. He says he's had tanks with up to 3 emperor angels in it. Imperator? Is the emperor angel and the imperator, is that the same angel?
I don't believe so.
The one that gets the white face with the black nose and yeah, I think they're different fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, since the last in and out, I did get some new corals, and I have some coming Friday as well. Yay.
Nice.
They look kind of pretty.
Well, along with that new coral, I got myself a blonde nasotang
Ooh.
and a blue lip bristletooth tang, which is yellow. And,
oh, wow.
and it's like a yellow, it has the same kind of face as a scopus. It's a Chenocatus.
Gotcha.
So it's not a zebrasoma, so not the same as a yellow tang. But the unfortunate thing is I put them in the tank, and because there's so many rocks and everything in there, I haven't seen them since. But I know they're eating because the algae is going down. So
Yeah, well, as you see my little cluster here, his little algae patch has gotten quite nice.
yeah.
Like I might have to go to the extent of taking that rock out.
Right.
Well, you'll see in a second.
He's probably farming it.
Like badly. I mean, he's keeping it groomed, but
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
But it's only there, right?
Is there? It's starting to pop up on the Xenia rock.
Ah.
He stopped cleaning that mushroom rock, and it's starting to appear here.
Right.
So, and every once in a while, I don't know if you can see it, there's a cluster right there that got torn off, and he didn't end up eating it, so it just floats in the tank. And I mean, like, they're not small clusters either.
No, they look like they grew fast.
No, like that.
Yeah. Oh, I
That's
see.
easily the size of my thumb.
Yeah. It's a chunk.
Yeah. I mean, there's the top down view.
Okay. Yep.
Solid chunk. But he keeps that nice and, somewhat designer.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like it's taken over your tank.
Yeah. And see, that's the one reason why I'm not too concerned about it. He's got it confined to this corner.
Yeah. Yep. Marcus Aerolis 187. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Also took advantage of an Earth Day sale. Oh, there you go. Terran's Little Ocean says it looks good to me. And SUV Porridge has a problem. Aqua SD has a problem with Zoes right now. Everyone bought Zoes with the sale. Everyone got Zoeing spiders, so be cautious.
Oh, ain't that some
Yeah.
shit? And that was the freebie they gave me too.
Well, I guess check it real careful before you let it in your tank, and people
Well,
are mad and getting refund because of the spiders infested their tanks. Yeah.
great. What eat spiders?
I don't know, a dip of some type or tweezers. They're fairly big. I've pulled them out. They're fairly big and they're really gross.
Oh, well, then I ain't got to worry about nothing because there was nothing on any frag. I mean, literally, the only thing that was on the frag were the corals.
And I don't know if I'm thinking of something else, but the eggs get laid in a circular pattern on like when the polyps are closed, you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing like that. I mean, the
Or
zoes were
maybe
perfectly fine. I put them in the tank, and inside of 5 minutes, they were open.
right. Maybe I'm thinking of Zoa eating nudibranchs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, those are clear, and they'll sit up on the polyps.
Yeah.
Crazy enough. Fen just did his live sale like a week ago or something like that, and I caught a couple nudies on one of his zoo packs, and come to find out they were the good nudies,
Oh,
not the
good.
bad ones.
Right.
But I
You
just
never
happened to
know.
see it.
Yeah. You never know. True Skills, Marcus is asking if you run any GFO.
Negative. Hang on the back marine land and a protein skimmer, and that's it.
Yep, I guess
My
you could.
nutrients are kind of high, but I need to kick those down with a little more frequent water changes. Cut my photo period down by about 2 hours.
Yeah, I guess the only real option would be to put a media bag in the filter somehow if you decided to use it. GFO is one of those things that always scared me.
Yeah, I don't have GFO, but I do have Chemi Pure Blue in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go slow with it, man. You don't have to. I mean, it's not a big deal either way.
Yeah. Well, over time frame, roughly, this has gone from a 15-gallon fluval flex to what you see over the previous 3 years. So
yeah,
the rock's nice and seated. It's got sponges. I mean, the little tube worms are everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot going on in tanks. Those tube worms I had in my molly breeding tanks, and they had their tubes were actually sharp. They weren't vermetids. They were little fan worms that would come out.
Are they the white tubed ones?
Yeah, and they're so pretty.
I've got millions of them.
So invasive, and every once in a while I'd scratch my hand on it. So eventually I started removing pieces of rocks and just wire brushing them and trying to control them that way.
Cut them down.
Marcus Aerolis says a lot of people run way too much GFO. He likes to mix half a teaspoon with carbon and change it out about every 1 or 2 weeks.
Are you letting it?
Yeah.
What's that called? Are you letting the GFO tumble with the carbon? Or are you just placing your GFO in the carbon and then placing it down? Because to my understanding, GFO is supposed to be liquidized.
It's supposed to be in a reactor so it can move, whereas carbon's not supposed to move because it creates dust, right? He says no tumble, all packed.
Okay.
I guess as long as the water's flowing through it, which maybe that's what happens with when it's mixed with the carbon because of the different grain size, maybe that allows the water to flow through it somewhat.
I would think
I
so.
I ran GFO and carbon in a dual reactor for probably like the last 9 years.
What do you just stack them on top of each other with filters in between?
No, it's two separate chambers, so the
Okay.
the flow rate is the same through both of them because it's on one pump, but you can set it to where your GFO tumbles, and then the next chamber you just have sponges kind of packing down the carbon and keeping it in place.
Gotcha.
My experience with it, however, was while it's really easy to manage phosphates with, I find like if you change it on a regular schedule, you can see it. If you have a phosphate checker, you can see it knock down your phosphates.
Yeah.
The disadvantage I found over time, I think I've always had high iron content in my water on like ICP tests. And also I noticed like some species of my corals tend to like to go to that like red orange type color. And so I stopped running it like a year ago and just been managing my phosphates in different ways, and then trying to see if I can get the iron levels down in my tank, because I've never dosed iron in any kind of dosing. I've always had to leave it out. So
Yeah.
There's I think it's Fosgard. They have the filter pad, and it will extract and turn color to what is in there and extract it out of there.
yeah, the polyfilter.
The polyfilter, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not in levels where I necessarily want to intervene, but I've thought about that, but I don't know.
Well, I'd get on that quickly, because if metals start to build up in your tank, and if you're thinking anything mixed with prominent L or SPS, it's going to build up quick, and it's going to sneak up on you like nothing.
yeah, especially if you do a lot of water changes. Hey, JV Gwaltney, welcome. Yeah, the Herm says GFO needs to tumble lightly. Carbon should be compact tightly. Tumble tightly in your reactor in a mesh bag from his experience and opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, Marcus says that's why I don't tumble it. You get iron dust you can't even see. Yeah, that stuff kind of scares me, mainly because I don't feel like I can be in control of it without a lot of effort and oversight. I'm not saying that you should only use things that you can set and forget by any means, but it seems to me if you make a mistake with that stuff, you really pay for it.
Yeah, quickly too, and that's the problem.
Yeah. So, that's why I've kind of stayed away from it. I have tried it for phosphate removal, GFO, and it never really did anything for me. And that's probably because I was using it wrong. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why I stay away from it. Even if I got perfect instructions, it's just me. Somehow I'm gonna mess it up. Let me get basic filtration and a protein skimmer. Let me get some circulation. After that, I'm good. I'll do my water changes.
Yeah.
Basic as possible.
Yep, it's true. I haven't done a water change yet on the sump system, not even after the cycle finished. And I think it's because I didn't really have a cycle. So I didn't need to worry about a high nitrate buildup from all the processing.
Yeah.
And I keep a pretty close eye on it. Phosphate was at 0.06, nitrate was at 5. And next nitrate test, I think I might have to use the nitrate checker, because I have a feeling it's dropped again. A couple of the Montes are getting a little pale. Some of them are real dark.
What's your magnesium at?
1395. I like to keep it around 1400.
What's your alka?
It was down to 7.6. Last I checked, I got it up to 8.2, and I'm aiming for 8.5. And calcium, though, my last test was 424. And that was like a couple days ago. I did the whole suite of tests. So, it's not exactly where I like to keep it, and I'm still messing with the dosing to try and even it out. But
Yeah.
It takes time, right?
That's why I stick with the 2-part.
Yeah. Oh, look, Chase is showing us some corals. Hey, Chase, I'll pop you up full screen and you can show us what you got there.
It's the orange one above those two.
This is just my frag tank. Sorry for the reflections and the lights. My lights just came on less than an hour ago, so I'm trying to compensate with this filter. But
Is that a fire Monty?
no, that's it's a chalice. It's like it's purple and yellow chalice there.
Oh, okay. Looks orange. Then you got some Blastos. Ooh, those look
Some
beautiful.
Blastos. My favorite one's actually this one.
Orange and purple?
It's like yeah, it's kind of orange and red and purple.
Oh, yeah, my wife would love that.
But
I like that Slimer next to it.
look on those. Yeah, that one I've kind of, you can see where I fragged off the main branch and put it in the display.
Gotcha. You got a nice little collection of those and everything else.
Yeah, this is all the kind of stuff that's not quite ready to go in the display. Like it needs to grow out, or I need to manage the algae off it. I mean, my display is just full of green hair algae right now.
I see. I see. I'm growing towards that.
It's all right though. I mean, I need more. I just ordered like 200 hermit crabs, and I got some more.
Oh, Jesus! 200?
Yeah, it's a big tank. So,
oh man, I know this first time meeting you, but let me guess, like 275 or bigger.
yeah, it's a 250, and it's all connected.
Some.
This system's all connected.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is like the filtration and frag side, and then the tank is over here.
Wow. Ooh, nice mural.
Nice art there, yeah.
I'll trade your green hair algae for my dinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, dinos are tough, man. It's all of those things, though. I think, you know, in my experience, because I mean, I've done fluconazole treatments. I would not recommend using Dino X if you have corals in your tank.
Chemi Clean works, but yeah.
You can always try Chemi Clean. That's pretty safe. I've also, I don't know about you, Cindy, what your experience was, but I've used fluconazole a bunch of times, and if you use it independently, I have never had a problem with it. It's when I've mixed it with other stuff or done other things at the same time.
Oh, what was it? Somebody was just talking about that in a video they released not too long ago. There was something about one of the side effects to using that is it depletes the O2 in the tank quickly.
Well, I think the issue is that as the algae dies, it consumes the oxygen. So you have to be prepared to siphon it out or remove the decomposing algae. And I've used it 4 times. And the last time was in the Red Sea tank about a year after I set it up. Because, of course, the stage that it was in, I got bryopsis in there. And you know what that stuff's like. You know, once you... And I've never used it only for green hair algae because I've always been able to control that. But when it had the bryopsis, it just got crazy. So I used the fluconazole in that tank after it was about a year old. And I believe it killed my long tentacle plate coral because within hours it started to turn gray.
Ew.
And it shriveled up, and I quickly took it out, put it in the Molly breeder tank that I had right beside there, and it just never came back. And that thing had 5 or 6 babies on it. It was beautiful, and that coral is why I set up the flow in the Red Sea tank the way I set it up, was specifically for that coral, so it had the right conditions to maintain the flowing tentacles. The tentacles on that thing were 8 or 9 inches long. It was amazing. Wow. It was just amazing. And so it was pretty, I was pretty bummed when it died. And the only thing I can attribute it to is the fluconazole because it happened immediately.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty definitive.
yeah. I'll stick with Chemi Pure
Yeah.
Chemi Clean every once in a while. I've
Yeah.
only had to use it twice in my, I don't know, what, 10 years, 11,
Yeah.
12 years of reefing.
Well, when I get my new tank, I will finally be in a position where somebody says, "Oh, you can get something to eat that." I'll be able to get a fish that'll eat it
And see,
because
Yeah.
I'll
that's
have
my
the
whole entire
space,
goal
right?
right there.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody's goal is get 200-300 gallon nice big display and man, I'll get me something to where if I got a problem, I can go buy a fish.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you have, for example, pest problems, acro eating flatworms or what, well, maybe
Yeah.
not acro eating, but planaria, people always say, "Oh, just get a wrasse." But if you have a 30-gallon cube,
Yeah, which
you can,
wrasse?
well, if you can find one. Oh, and by the way, the
Ooh,
green
beautiful.
wrasse, beautiful wrastas. Is that what they are? Gorgeous.
Yes.
My fish store guy, I've been asking him how the green wrasse is doing, and he said he's doing great. He's out swimming around and he's flipping over the acan colonies.
Great.
Yes.
Are those Darth Mauls?
Those are utter chaos.
The ones in the back or the ones to the front right? Those right there.
The ones kind of behind it to the right and directly behind it, far back there, are all the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's the one directly in front?
This one right here.
Correct.
Yeah, that's utter chaos.
I thought they were more orangey red like the other ones.
Oh,
Unless
It's
I'm
just
thinking
hard to
Bam
tell with the
Bams.
filter, and the colors aren't quite true to
Yeah.
what the eye is.
Well, yeah, I mean, those look to be Armor of Gods, but the ones in the back look to be Bam Bams behind the Armor of Gods.
Hmm.
Or at
I mean,
least that's what I know them as.
You could always be right, dude. I'm not the best with the names either.
Purple Hornets.
Those are gorgeous.
Yeah, those are purple Hornets. Or
Yeah.
purple People Eaters, one of the
See,
two.
to my eye, these were sold to me as blue hornets, and to my eye, they're just navy blue and bright yellow. It doesn't quite look like that on the camera.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's coming across as purple with, like, at least to me, purple rim and like a light peach center
that's funny.
line around the mouth.
Here, maybe if I.
Very nice.
Oh, I just
Oh, hey, Davis Jew. Dawn, glad you could make it. Oh, and the Herm 14. You know what? Herm, I saw that video, and you're right. The video was from Eat Sleep Reef. He was medicating his QT system, lost oxygen super fast. Maybe the video channel you're talking about, because he had copper running and he added General Cure.
Oh.
So, yeah. Hey, Carlos23, nice to see you. He tried lots of stuff for dinos and read an article that someone tried raising the temp to over 80 degrees, feed and UV. Poof, the stuff went away 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and his entire tank died.
Oh, no.
Well, okay, you think about this. Most average ocean water is what? 60, 70 degrees? 75 maybe?
Yeah.
Yep.
2 degrees Celsius change is killing entire ecosystem areas. 80 degrees, 80, 81 degrees is killing most reefs. The fact, if that person was able to keep their tank alive at 80 degrees, oh man, I need to meet you. I got a bunch of questions to ask you.
Yeah, I think it's more about just maintenance. You just got to, every day you got to go in, you got to, I mean, if you want to get a little jump start, you can do a small blackout period, but I've never liked those personally more than like 24 hours. And so sometimes I will do that. Like I'll skip 1 day light cycle if I want to get a jump on maintenance, if I have something like dinos or whatever. But in my experience, like after doing this for 12 years, I've had dinos several times. Like just give it time, keep track of all your parameters. Don't do anything crazy.
She's gonna be gone.
And you know.
Oh, hey, good morning, B-Speak. Carlos says that the person did it slowly over time.
I do recommend putting on. I have liked results with UV if you get a decent UV Like I have a 40-watt on this system.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I haven't sourced yet for my new system. Right now, I still have the Vecton 2 running that we had on the Red Sea tank, and it's doing what it needs to. It's really undersized for the 265 gallons I've got going right now. But, you know, it's something. B. Speak says his tank gets into the low 80s every summer.
Ouch.
Yeah. You don't
Get a
So-
maybe
fan, blow at the top of the water, man.
Yeah.
It'll help you out quickly.
This is what I do for mine. It's on that same automatic thing. I mean, this will drop it 2 degrees Fahrenheit easy.
Well, if you guys have heard of Oh Too Many Fish out in California, he has outdoor tanks, and he doesn't have a chiller. It's all on evaporative cooling with fans, and they
Nice.
get days that are 110 degrees in the summer.
Yeah, and his tank
And-
will probably be sitting at 76 degrees easily.
Yeah, just amazing what he does. I'm not sure what the normal temp is for him, but it's a pretty interesting channel. Hey, Broke Reef Man 45. Oh, Carlos says, "Ha, ReefGrrl, let him know who I am and that I did it in my frag tank with high-end acros and it worked for me."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you go slow enough. JV, I've been keeping my tanks at 78. Is that too high? I wouldn't say so.
I mean, me personally, I keep
normal.
mine at like 77.5, 78.
Yeah. Well, my ink bird is set at 25.2, which I think is 77 and a half.
I believe so.
Things
This
are
is
like
look
lightsabers.
This is looking good, Chase. So, do you have kind of an idea of when you're going to move stuff over, or are you waiting for the algae to burn itself out?
Well, full disclosure, I cleaned this yesterday, so it's not always this neat and tidy. So don't everyone feel jealous of that in any regard.
All I know is I need to order out of that tank right there.
Yeah, mostly I'm waiting for I mean, I've moved a lot of stuff over because the coral's still thriving, but I mean, you can see it's just pretty much a blanket of algae on there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at your fish. They look
So,
great.
Um,
That fox
So-
bait is fat.
yeah, so I got a couple hundred hermit crabs coming, and just gonna slowly work on it. I siphon stuff out every once in a while, but it's just pretty much covered everything except where the corals are starting to expand out. So
I notice you keep preferencing hermit crabs. Are you going to try any turbo snails, or you got wrasses that'll mess that up?
I have a bunch of snails in there. I have a wave of snails, so I'm now trying the wave of hermit crabs.
Gotcha.
Good
See if
snails
they're
are so
gonna
dang
be what's
expensive. It's
lacking.
ridiculous.
But yeah, that's the problem.
But like I said, I'm just giving it time. I mean, I've never had an algae outbreak like this, but I've never set up a tank where I've put kind of new rock in it and then I connected it to an old system and did some stuff. So,
All right, random question. Right where your sail fin tang is, to the left of the coral. Base of the rock, go left, go left. What fish posts up right there?
I have an engineer goby that goes under there.
There's something that's out there that it's waving, and I couldn't tell. It looked like a snowflake eel. It's nice and long.
That's an engineer goby.
Okay, I was
That is
wondering.
that's on my list.
Yeah. But I will say, Cindy, Alex G wasn't wrong. Like, it pretty much likes to go under every rock in the tank and like check out what's under there.
Yep, and I've put
So-
all of my entire aquascape is on feet.
Let's see if I can find him.
So there's like a 3/4 of an inch to an inch below every structure.
The last spot I saw him was right where you were just looking.
Here, I'll put some food.
Oops.
In, and he'll.
And Carlos 23 wants you guys all to know he's a seasoned veteran, and he is. If you ever check him out on Instagram, some of the stuff he has is absolutely amazing. Hey, B Speeg uses fans, but when it's 90 in the house, the fans can only do so much. And hey, Skookum Chuck.
You can
He's-
also put a slight Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Take a rag, get it damp, throw it in the freezer,
Right.
pull it out, put it on the backside of the fan.
Oh, that's a thought. Skookum Chuck used to run his a little cooler than normal to save electricity. Kind of
I
makes
don't know where that
sense.
guy went.
The last time I saw him was in that hole right there that I had you look at.
Yeah. He usually comes.
That-
I feed frozen once. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I see him.
Oh, right. Peeking out. Do you
Yeah,
have just
he's-
one?
He's about a foot long. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just
I mean,
the one.
he looked nice and big from what I saw, but with me looking at this through my phone, it kind of looked kind of fuzzy, and I wasn't sure if I was seeing an eel or something else. Yeah, that's him. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they start out. I got them about 3 inch or maybe 2 inches long. They have a black body with a horizontal white stripe down their whole body.
Nice.
And as they grow, they develop he's like navy blue, and then the patches are like yellow,
Nice.
yellowish white.
Oh, you have a mycelium right up at the top there. To the left of the green, is that a Monty? Or is it yeah, it looks like a Monty.
Chalice.
I have one of those. That purple with the orange eyes.
Yeah.
Does it get really long sweepers?
That one I haven't seen them too long. They're maybe like a couple centimeters.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a mycelium. When I look at this closer, I think maybe mine is different, but the tentacles on it are like 6 or 7 inches long.
That's
So
this
it's-
one for me.
Yeah, it needs its own neighborhood, right?
I'm surprised actually it hasn't stung this Monty that's right next to it.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason why it's got its tentacles out.
Yeah, it'll kill stuff next to it. I didn't really care if it stung that Monty a little, to be honest.
Does
I've just
flow
been
go
sticking-
left to right or left to right or right to left?
So in general, it flows clockwise in the tank. So against the fish right now. So it'll flow across the front going this way and
All
across the back going that way in general.
Then either the zoes on the rock above it and behind it, either the zoes or all the stuff that's coming off the leather in the very back is what's creating the sweeper tentacles. It's picking up the
Oh yeah, I mean,
the toxins
I've put
from something
it's been in
else.
so many. I mean, this coral's probably 6 years old. I've had it in so many different spots. It kills anything that's near it. Yeah,
It's beautiful. It is
It's
beautiful.
just a very
though.
aggressive.
yeah.
Is that a tongue coral?
This is a tongue coral. This is one of my oldest corals. It's about 10 years old.
I thought that was a long tentacle plate.
No, they're pretty short tentacles. They're about, maybe an inch.
That's so cool.
But it's probably the size of. I mean, it's pretty big. It's probably 8-9 inches across.
Oh yeah, it looks to be about the width of a basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, Waterhouse Jason. Waterhouse Jason, talking back to temperatures, raised his temp to 82, cleaned his socks every day. It didn't kill anything, but didn't remove dinos either. Added UV and gone in 3 days.
Never fails.
So there we go.
Yeah, UV's good.
Doc BC is suggesting a lawnmower, Blenny.
Yeah, got one.
Got one.
Oh, his stomach's small.
He's actually
Yeah.
lost weight since I moved him from my old 125 to he was like huge pot belly, and then since he's
Yeah,
been in
like
here,
mine.
none of them want to eat whatever this stuff is.
Yeah.
So
It's like my lawnmower. He's got a fat belly.
yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, man, you think they're gonna like explode or something?
Explode, yeah.
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 He'll be sitting there laying on the sand bed, and he's sitting on all belly. He doesn't even have to use his front two little bottom fins. Like legitly, he sits straight up on his belly. It's crazy.
I'm a little worried because I glued these guys down, and they were 2-3 inches apart, and they're about maybe a centimeter of room left between them now. They've really grown well.
It's looking amazing. Like really.
Beautiful
It's-
colors too.
Yeah, I'm just just waiting for this algae to kind of, I know it's going to go away eventually because I still have all my old rock from the old tank in my refugium that's connected. And I mean, it's covered in coralline. There's no algae in there. I mean, it has a longer light cycle than this tank. There's less cleanup crew. So I think it's just the rock kind of putting off some probably silicates and other stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Feeding the dye off in the leaching process. That's the only thing I hate about rock.
so
Yep.
just sticking through it. It's a little frustrating because I haven't been able to like I moved a bunch of this stuff over, but like these two corals, they're just literally, I mean, unless they encrust, because they're on like
Islands.
4-inch tiles.
Gotcha.
And so unless they encrust down onto the rock, I just put them there. So like they block that part of the rock. So when I move them, you know, there won't be algae there. So like a lot of these things are just kind of, I've just been moving them. Like all these zoas I could move right now. They're all on tiles. So I had a bunch of acans in here, but the freaking sailfin tank started picking at the acans.
Uh-oh.
So I love acans. They're one of my favorites, but he literally went after them all. He does pick at the lobos a little bit, but I don't think he can quite eat the tissue the same way or something because they're a little more resilient. And overall haven't really, but I see him picking at them.
So yeah, Skookum Chuck is talking about his lawnmower Blenny. It was interesting to watch. He never ate algae, but killed a college fund of clams and oysters. It was eating the mantle. Oh, and somebody's asking me what my dream fish is. My dream fish is actually a unicorn tang, but I know I'll never be able to have one. So Diacanthus, oh hey Diacanthus, he says pink-tail trigger is my guess. Yeah, pink-tail trigger is one of the fish I want to get for the new tank. I'd love to get 2 or 3 of them, but I can't have 2 or 3 of every fish, so I may have to get selective about it.
Yeah. See, I got that same problem. I want a nice, beautiful fish. However, you can't keep it in a reef. And I only want reef tanks.
Yeah. What kind do you want? What's your favorite?
Harlequin tusk.
Oh, yeah. That's a type of wrasse, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Nasty little boogers.
Hey, Lynn Reef Nerd, welcome.
The thing that drew me to them was the color combination and the fact that their teeth are blue.
Yes. I first saw one in the Vancouver Aquarium, and I spent days trying to figure out what that fish was.
I did the same thing, only I watched a video from Than at Tidal Gardens, and I just happened to get lucky, and I wasn't paying attention, and it was just playing, and, you know, a random video on my phone playing, and I put my phone down and walked away and, you know, had to deal with the babies and walk back by and I see this beautiful fish. I'm like, ooh, what's that? And then I couldn't find that video for like 3 days because one of my boys was upstairs flopping through YouTube on his projector, and, you know, I lost the video in my history. So I'm like, oh, what's this fish? And I'm like, I know it's Than, but why can I not find it on his channel? And like a week later, I found it.
Marcus wants an aberrant clown tang, but they're jerks. Yeah, the other is clown trigger. I would love to have a clown trigger. They are just so goofy looking.
That's it. See, I keep getting the clown triggers and the, how do you say that word? The humu, whatever.
Oh, the humma triggerfish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't look anything similar, or am I just like completely screwing that image of the fish up?
The humma has a really long face and has a white underbelly with a black patch, like a stripe going down it.
Yeah, and it's got some funky blue on it.
Yeah, and I always get that one mixed up with the Picasso triggerfish, which you can keep in a reef, but without crustaceans.
Yeah.
And that one has really cool sort of diagonal sketch marks all over it. But anyway, Diacanthus would love to have a shark ray being a giant oceanic manta ray, which for obvious reasons is unreasonable to keep.
I mean, unless you're Bill Gates, and then it's reasonable.
It's very reasonable. All right, I want to turn the flow back on.
SUV Porridge says
an entire pool house dedicated to sharks and rays.
SUV Porridge says his dream fish would, he or she, probably be a peppermint angel, but it's impossible for, so maybe flame hawkfish or golden angel, white pygmy filefish. Yeah, so many choices now.
See, eventually that's what I want to do with my system. Put it in the basement, main display upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just this little side room off my like main living room.
Nice.
And then I wanted the tank in the living room because I used to have my display down here, and I was like, oh, I just want it somewhere where I can look at it, because I always notice like the fish are always scared of me when I walk down here, and I want them to like be used to me up there because we're always in the living room.
Yeah.
And then I just put the rest of the filtration down here, and then I put it up on stands because I hate bending down to like clean the skimmer.
Yeah.
So this is a refugium. It runs at night. It's a 90-gallon. So it has all my old rock from my old tank, my 125. And then I just grow like caulerpa and gorgonians and random corals down here.
Go for more of the biological filtration with that.
Yeah.
Good.
So I got a couple of fish that, like this guy was always mean to all my other fish, and he got HLLE. So now he lives down here.
Is that a type of tang?
Yeah, it's a DiGiardini sailfin.
Oh, okay.
He's got no fins, and he's got bad HLLE.
Yeah, it looks like a good 3/4 of his face is missing.
Yeah, so that happened within months of putting him in with this yellow tang I had. And I put them in together, but they still, with a couple other tangs, and the two of them just went at it, and he was kind of always the aggressor, and the yellow tang didn't make it. And I kept him for years, and then when I did this whole system switch, I just decided, hey, I'll just put him in the 90-gallon, almost by himself. There's a clownfish in there. That's also a bad actor, but
yeah,
I was like, I'll just let him have this tank and do his thing, and that way I could put, like, you know, wouldn't have to worry about putting fish in the new tank. So.
Hey, see you later, ugly man. Thanks for stopping by.
But I still put seaweed on his clip, and he gets a pretty good life down there. So.
Yeah, Broke Reef Man 45 says, very nice tanks, Chase V.
Thank you. Yeah, always a work in progress.
Reefing with O just stopped in. Hey, O. Yeah, this has really, really come a long way. I remember the first couple times we saw you on the stream here. You had it all set up, and it was kind of an obstacle course.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of work down here. It looks really good.
Yeah, my wife wishes it looked a little better, but there's so much you're doing every day. It's like I'm always using all this stuff, so it's always out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can't put it away. It doesn't get dusty. That's how you tell.
Yeah.
There's my latest test results, kind of side by side with the left column is the ICP, and the right column is my same day test.
9-1 versus 8-1 alk. Wow.
Yeah, which is interesting because I've always heard the Hanna checkers are 1 DKH off, and maybe it's true. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that means you should be getting some solid growth fairly consistently.
Yeah.
Keeping your algae like that.
There's the metals, although these are, so the lithium, iron, and aluminum were the 3 that were actually detectable. All were at pretty minimal levels, but they are the 3 that were on there, so I wrote them down. So I talked to my LFS guy about all the absorbent sponges and stuff, and we kind of came to the conclusion that they were at such a low level that it wouldn't be prudent to put them in at this point. And I've always had little traces of them, but you know, you can see some of my other traces are kind of low too. So anyway.
Marcus is wondering what salt you use, Chase.
I'm a pretty big fan of the
Brightwell?
yeah.
Nice.
It blends at that lower alkalinity that I like,
Yeah.
and so it's easier for me to water change without having to worry so much about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's also because it's like the anhydrous salt. It never clumps up or anything. It's always very powdery and easy to mix. So
Yeah. I use the Tropic Marin for the same reason. I like the low alk. I prefer to dose up than try to fight with it to come down if it's too high.
yeah. My dosing is stabilized out. The only thing I've been considering lately is integrating maybe some kalkwasser into my system, along with my 2-part dosing. But it's just something I've been thinking about lately.
Yeah, when I added calc, it was to try and bump the pH slightly, and it worked. And all the 5 different things that I did to bump the pH all did a little bit.
Yeah.
So, in the end, it was 8.2, 8.3, and the final bump was from Aquachar. And I know people say that it's snake oil or whatever, but I can only go by my own experience, and it worked.
Yep.
So,
All right. Here's what I was saying about my lawnmower Blenny and his belly.
oh, let's look at that guy. That's a beautiful
That
little
is-
fish.
All belly.
Wow. So does he have a name?
My
It's like, where's
6-year-old calls him lawnmower.
he's going, where's my food, man?
It's all over the tank. Oh yeah. Ooh, sorry. Hold on. Couple of the corals I got. I got 2 recordias.
Oh, nice. Man, I haven't had a recordia in forever. Those are nice.
Oh, Alveopora. Oh, nice.
I need to cut my photo period down. It's supposed to have a blue ring, white centered, and
Mhm.
bright white tips. I also got the rock flower,
Right. You got T5s over this tank?
Cora Life LEDs.
Ah,
I believe it's a Christmas tree. I could be wrong on the name. Beautiful Favia.
or maybe watermelon?
Come on,
Or is-
focus.
Or is that the reverse? Maybe. Red with green. I don't know. So
Come
many
on,
names.
focus.
That's a really nice green skin red polyp Favia you got there.
Yeah, and then I got the plate. That's driving me nuts that it won't focus. I got this one. If I was able to zoom in a little better, I could. It's supposed to be, the mouth is supposed to be like a lime green, kind of like this. And then the body is supposed to be like a pink, but I haven't had it come anything close to that. And then they gave me the Zoes.
Huh.
But there was no
BC,
spider on those.
BC says, not positive, but your lawnmower Blenny is a she if what I see are spots on the tail.
Let me find her.
Producer Reef. Is this a troll question? How long does the green last on rocks in a new tank? I don't know. How long is a
your
piece of
cleanup crew is?
how long is a piece of string, right?
Zip.
Yeah.
Come on. Where'd she go?
It'll be there until something else covers it up. Or
I
you
don't
bleach
think
the
it's
rock.
a female. That, or I'm not seeing the dots they're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't notice any. I did look at the tail because I was looking at how long the fish was.
I mean, there is a 4 square dot pattern back there. It's at the
Yeah.
base of the tail.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more stuff like that.
Yeah, me
See,
too.
when I got it, it was kind of crazy because from the white in between these 2 stripes,
Mhm.
From there forward was dark, and from there back was almost translucent for like
Wow.
a week. I mean, you can see the color shift on it. Like as you
Mm.
see it as it's swimming, it
Yep.
was more prominent across the body when I first got it.
And it's really black and white. Most of that I've seen are kind of a beige and brown.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why I picked that specific blending, because there were two in the tank that day. But I mean, the colors, it was darker than the other one, but it was actually like dark, not just, brown.
Yeah. Yeah, not just darker brown, yeah. Well, maybe you got the one species of blenny that doesn't eat algae.
Oh no, it eats algae. I can guarantee that one.
Oh, BC says yeah, I don't see the dots either by the vent.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to,
Are they is it supposed to be on the anal fin?
no, by the vent underneath,
Yeah, that
where
would be
the,
the anal fin.
right at the back?
Right after the belly.
Okay.
See if I can get her to stop. What I think they're talking about. I'll never finish. Come on, pretty little girl. Ah. Oh. Post up, honey.
The clowns
There
are going
we
to get in on it.
Oh yeah, this one will come over and bully too. Well, not exactly bully, but they post up and like body check each other. What I'm thinking they're talking about is right under the belly right there.
Yeah.
There's the bottom fin coming across. Why is it focusing on my finger? Oh, this is driving me nuts.
Bye, fishy.
And that's the one thing I love about 40 breeders. Nice and long. But
Well,
anyway, it's supposed to be right there by the vent.
Looks super healthy.
Right there where the bottom fin comes right into the belly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one solid dot on the bottom anal fin, but other than that, it's just gapped and like the rest of the little four squares in the back corner back there.
Right.
Other than that, it doesn't look anything too specific.
BC says wife in her nano has a flame tail blenny and sometimes black, sometimes navy, and then has a flame tail. Blennies are the great addition to any tank. Yeah. I want to get one.
I can't wait until I can get me a little scooter. Don't get me wrong, dragonettes are lovely.
Yep.
Personally, I like the scooters.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the ones that are mainly black and white.
Yeah, so some of them come up in red.
Yeah. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Don't get me wrong, the mandarins look gorgeous, but they're just too common.
Yeah, that's why I never got a clownfish until I was in the hobby for 5 years, because I thought everybody has clownfish, and then I got some and I realized why everybody has clownfish, because they're so much fun.
Well, that and every clown is unique. There is no duplicate of anyone anywhere unless it's a standard one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we just had Alex G pop in the waiting room.
Oh, what up, Alex?
Have to bring Alex in and see what's been going on. I saw some heating things happening.
Hello.
Well, that's really cool, Aaron. Thanks for that close-up stuff on the blenny. That is a beautiful fish.
I like the Watchman pistol cue ball's got going right now.
Yeah. I've never been able to bring a Watchman goby to anything beyond a little tiny baby. They just haven't lived. And I suspect it's got to do with the green wrasse.
Most likely.
Cool.
You got a nice frag flopped upside down.
Oh yeah, he's aquascaping it apparently.
Marcus has a Watchman coming Tuesday. Any tips?
Enjoy it.
enjoy.
He's
Yeah,
my
that's cool.
favorite fish.
He's excavating really efficiently. That's pretty cool.
Well, and see, that's the one I want to get a tiger, tiger watchman combo like you have, because I have young children, 8 and 9 and 6 and 3 coming up, but the underside of my tank is what I want them to be able to have it go in there and tunnel out a portion of the bottom of the tank, and they can come over and lay underneath the tank and watch the shrimp run around. See, I'm just an interactive person like that, though.
Yeah, they do that. I used to call it the junkyard when I had the tiger and the Aurora gobies, the pair. And every morning it would be different. There'd be stuff all over the place. And then the next day you'd come out and look, and he had built a perfect little arched entrance out of little tiny stones into a cave. And
Nice.
they would move their entrance to the back corner, and it would take me a little while, but I would find it, because after a while you learn the signs to look for, right?
Yeah.
I love that thing, and I really look forward to getting more, because they were just constantly fascinating.
I don't know if you can see it back there, Cindy, but they built a cave entrance out of old hermit shells.
Yeah. Crazy. Just crazy. I used to drop rubble in there on purpose, and sure enough, they would incorporate it. Yeah, they look great.
Nice. All right. Well, give me a quick second. I'm going to keep my camera going, but I'll be right back.
Okey-doke. So, Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. So
Cool. It's been a couple of weeks, and I saw your Instagram post with your 140-degree bucket of salt water.
I
Oh
saw
my
that.
God.
And I was like, yeah, I really dropped the ball on this one. So I don't know
So-
how many hours that heater was sitting in there.
My husband was asking whether the heater would have got warm enough to actually melt the bucket. Like,
I don't think it would have, because it wasn't like it was boiling or anything. So
no, well, that's what I said, and that plastic has got. But I mean, I guess if something was right up against it,
yeah, I got the heater on a PVC stick, and it's zip tied to that. So I like when I gotta stir something in the bucket, I'll put the stick in with the heater, and I'll mix up the salt with. Generally the heater won't necessarily be plugged in, but that way it holds the heater cord and everything, and it makes it a little convenient. So that way it can't touch the sides of the bucket, because I do worry about that. If it was against it, it probably would have melted a hole through it. So, and that I did not use any of that water, because I was like, I actually got another bucket, put mostly cold in, and a couple scoops of the hot stuff, and I was like, you know what? You go, that's a lot of heat to kick off of one of those buckets. I don't know if that could have released anything. And I was like, just going to toss the water and make some new stuff up. So that's what I did.
Yeah, because I know LDPE from all our research will start leaching at 150 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'll just toss it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just RO water. So.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Diacanthus, what is Lautilia graciliosa? I don't know what that is. What would we call it if we were not using a scientific name? I'm interested.
That one's not triggering any bells for me. Is it a fish? Can I get out the book?
Well, we were just talking about the pistol shrimp and watchman goby that Q-Balls has. So I'm assuming it's maybe the shrimp, maybe a type of shrimp.
I never did do a pair of those in my last tank. I always wanted to, and then I just didn't do it. My tank before, I tried to do a Randall's pistol, which I never saw that thing. I put it in, and it never paired with anybody. I'd hear it, but
yeah, that's the only way you really know sometimes if they're still there. And when I would hear mine would be late at night, when you go in with the flashlight, that's when I would hear it. And so as long as I heard that, even if I never saw it, at least I knew it was still alive.
I'm gonna make a few little cave areas this time that'll be intentionally for them.
Yeah. And I found
White-cap goby. Okay.
red sea white-cap goby, shrimp gobies, black with a white cap and orange dorsal fin eye spot. Oh, cool. That sounds really cool. Yeah, when I put Geronimo in, the tiger pistol shrimp, I called him Geronimo because he just literally leaped out of the net before I even had a chance to decide where I was going to put him down at the left-hand end of the tank because it was easy to see that whole corner. And there was a really good rock structure there that I knew he could dig under because it was all up on feet. And he just kind of leaped out of the net halfway down and ended up there, which was good. And then when I put the Aurora gobies in, the pair of them, I put them down in the same spot. And it took them about 10 days. And eventually they did find each other and they did pair up. And I have tons and tons of really good footage of them after hours, moving around, digging stuff. And the Auroras would come out regularly and eat during the day when I was feeding the tank. So I did see them quite a bit. So I would do that again in a heartbeat. And now with the new tank, if I set up my arches correctly, you know, I could maybe have several pairs. They could all have their own archway, right? Because they're little platforms that are raised up off the bottom. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because they get kind of expensive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna, because some of the stuff I'm gonna keep is gonna be bigger and just to give a lot of small spaces. What I'm thinking this time is I'll take the same style of construction that they do for what the heck, negative space aquascaping.
Yeah.
But I want to make some smaller, like, you know,
Tunnels and arches for them.
well, I don't even want to call it an arch or anything, but something that's like half of a grapefruit softball or even like a volleyball basketball, and basically make a dome of rubble rock that's cemented together.
Mm-hmm.
So that small fish or like a goby pistol shrimp could get in there, have their tiny caves where other stuff can't get them, because I might
It's
have
just
some
big
bigger
enough for
stuff.
them to fit in.
Yeah.
Well, I can recommend the two little fishies, little rocks. They're about the size of a golf ball, roughly, maximum. And the cool thing about them is that most of them are sawn flat on two sides, and then they have rough areas all around. And what I found is when I was working with them to make the arches, you can turn them on their side. And I was thinking in terms of lots of little platforms and crevices and things to put encrusting corals, maybe an anemone, I don't know, kind of almost thinking about it, but just things that would need, or mushrooms, you know, would benefit from that. So I can imagine you could easily build something like if you took a styrofoam coffee cup or a red Solo cup and cut it off about halfway, you could stack up these little things and cement them together, and you would have your domes. Like it was a lot of fun. It wasn't easy, and it was messy, and it was frustrating, but in the end, you learn how to work with it, with styrofoam holding it up, and you know, that kind of thing. But those little feet from two little fishies here, they cost roughly $15 for 2.5 kilograms, which well, I mean, I probably bought $100 and some worth of them because I didn't know how many I would need. Compared to the price of a solid chunk of rock, yeah, they're expensive, but they've done all the work for you. You don't have to do the sledgehammering. They're designed to be able to be joined together. You can use them for rubble, for frag bases, like all that kind of stuff.
Nice. So
it was a good, like a lucky find. I happened to notice them, and they also make some called little feet. Little feet. I can't. Oh, I'm blanking on which is which. There's little rocks and little feet, and I think the little feet are the ones that are larger. They're mostly just a little smaller than a playing card, and again, they're sawn flat on both sides. But there's some really cool, gnarly shapes and hollows. They're just the Marco rock cut. That's all they are. And I really enjoyed working with them. And the results, I was pretty pleased with the results in the end. And I could totally see being able to build little small igloos
That
for
would be
them,
cool.
you know, because you can put a coral on top too, right?
Yeah. Put an encrusting on there like a Monty cap. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep, yep. Yeah, SUV Porridge is asking, ReefGrrl, are you going to show your tanks? I don't have any tanks here right now. Well, I have the sump tank. I do have about a 2.5 minute video of that. I just have Mollywood now, and it doesn't have any mollies in it anymore. It's Clown Town. We changed it to Clown Town because now all we have is clownfish in there. Let me see if this video will upload. I showed you guys a picture of my new coral. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. I can share this. Where did it go? There it is. Did it come up? Let's just try this. See if it works. This is kind of crappy. Like, it's not great editing or anything. Oh, where did it show up? It wouldn't. Anyhow, so Alex, you were mixing salt water for, what were you going to do with it?
What was I mixing?
Your salt water that you were mixing that ended up boiling or getting so hot?
That was just auto top. That was my auto top off water for my temp tank.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I thought you had mixed salt into there.
No, there might have been some salt that just slipped into the system here, just not all of it yet.
Right.
So I'm getting antsy. I'm waiting for my water test.
Oh, right. When did you send it?
I mailed it out to Triton on Monday, and the Postal Service had said it would be there Friday, which it hadn't left Chicago by Friday.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know why they have tracking. They don't update it anyway.
that's what I'm really hoping, is that if the tracking's just way off, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look at it tonight or tomorrow, and it'll say that it made it to California, and hopefully I'll get some test results this week. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I know
So-
from what I've been reading, they're testing it in the U.S. now. So
Right. So how much water do you have in your tanks now? Is the 700 full of water?
it's
Sorry.
about 1,800 gallons total right now.
Cool.
Damn.
Very cool. That's crazy, man.
Hey, Cindy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got to step away. I got a few errands I got to run today, but I just want to say thanks for having me on, and it was nice seeing and chatting with everyone and hearing some advice. So I appreciate it.
That's great. Thanks for coming by, Chase. It's awesome to see the 250, and I look forward to seeing more as it evolves, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be back.
Cool.
All right.
All
Have
right,
a good
see
day,
you.
everyone, and
You
night.
too. See you later.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm witnessing my my coral beauty has now 3-4 times struck the clam.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that. So what's going to go, the fish or the clam?
Well, if it's picking on soft tissue now, there's a high probability it's going to do it with anything else I put in the tank. And I've got a nice octo spawn coming Friday that's going to be a
Ooh.
sizable chunk. And if he's clipping at the clam already,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she ain't gonna be too happy about it.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's gonna dissuade her from doing anything with this tank for quite some time.
I guess maybe you have to find another fish that is equally beautiful and not and is more reef safe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's my only problem.
What about a Lamarck's angelfish?
I have no clue what that even is.
There-
I've never heard of it.
There's a genus of angelfish called Genicanthus that are generally reef safe. I had a pair of spot breast angels, which is Genicanthus melanosporos, and there's also a masked swallowtail Japanese. It's another Genicanthus angel. Geez, they've got they've got something, Aaron. I don't know if it's a piece of algae or what, but they were fighting over it. Anyway, look into that
Oh, that was
because
the chunk of food.
Okay.
I fed the
Not-
tank not too long ago.
Not a chunk of clam.
Big algae chunk floating up around in the tank. It's circled around 5 or 6 times.
But a Lamarck's or a Bellis angel. I think the Lamarck's are the ones that are blue, white, and black, right, Alex? And the Bellis has got finer markings on it. If I'm
Oh, you're testing me now. I've never been good with those.
Yeah,
But-
I've never been.
I gotta
good
go
at
get my
angels.
book. I feel.
But look into Bellis or Lamarck's because they're angelfish. I know one of them has a large patch of blue on the side and it's black and white. And they have that really nice little angelfish face, with the rounded nose and the puffy lips.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Here, I'll show my,
I'll have to look at those.
and just see, because those are reef safe angels. Genicanthus is the genus. And there are 3 or maybe 4 different types. And they're fairly frequently found in the aquarium trade. It's the ones that I had are male and female. There we go.
Gotcha.
Alex got the book out.
See, that's
Yeah.
what I need to start
Last book
doing.
in the pile.
Yeah. And that's how we know you've been around a while.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you got the books.
That's how you know he's extremely thorough with his work.
Yeah. Yeah, Diacanthus. Watanabe females. Yeah, those are the masked swallowtails, I'm thinking. And the female personatus. But yeah, they're fairly hard to find.
All right. Ooh.
Is that the Lamarck's or the Bellis? Lamarck's.
Lamarck's.
Okay. So it must
Yeah.
be the Bellis that has the blue on it.
I'm hoping it's the Bellis because yeah, she got this one strictly for the color pattern.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Hey, listen, I know how women think. So
Well, then I need to talk with you a little bit more about how to
Yeah.
get my wife into
what
this.
fish should I get? Just don't get a yellowtail blue damsel.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know to stay. Ooh, those look beautiful.
That's the Japanese swallowtail. Yeah, that looks similar
Yeah.
to the male Melanosporos, but the Melanosporos doesn't have the yellow on it.
I'm looking for the Melanosporos now.
I mean, she wants to get a yellow tang, but the problem is this is only a 40.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
quite expensive right now too.
Yeah, and that's the other problem.
Yeah, that's one where you're gonna have to put your foot down, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, eventually I'm gonna have to give in because I want one. Ooh.
Those are the ones I had. And I want them again really bad for the new
Does
tank.
it go from top to bottom, or is that the difference between the male and the female?
That's the male and the female. The female is above and the male is below. And the pair that I had, I absolutely love those fish. If you get a chance and you look on my channel, some of the Red Sea tank videos.
Oh, that looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's the baby there.
They are really pretty. And they're very reef safe. They will kind of get into it with other fish, but I've never, ever, ever witnessed any attacks or aggression. But they will definitely defend themselves. The male used to lay on his side. Yeah, there we go. That's the one I was thinking
See, I've
of.
seen those before.
Yeah, those are Bellas.
Yeah. And is that the male, Alex, the blue, or the female? I thought it was the female, but I could be
Female.
wrong.
The male's got the yellow on it for these.
Yeah. And those are relatively available, and you can get a male and female pair, which is always fun to watch. Because mine used to swim around in circles around each other, and the male would swim sideways, like horizontally, and his whole body would vibrate, and the female would swim the other way, and then they'd chase each other through the rocks, and it was like really,
Sounds
really,
interesting.
it was really fun to watch. Yeah. Sven and Inga.
Never seen these before.
Ooh.
Hold that right there, baby. Come here.
This one you're not going to be able to get.
We're on this one.
Yeah. That's not the Takeuchi, is it? The Diacanthus was talking about?
Or is that the gem?
No, that's a Personatus, but they're out of Hawaii, so you're not going to
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, not going to happen.
get. Hold on, wait. You want me to find expensive angels? I could do that.
Isn't that
Oh,
the
the-
gem?
The tiger angel. The
I was gonna say-
$10,000 tiger angel from Africa.
What was that one that was like 60 grand, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago?
Hold on, I'll pull that one up.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going. Wasn't it the gem angel?
Oh, there's a
haven't-
couple of them that are really up there.
I've heard of gem tangs. I've never heard of a gem angel.
Oh, I could be wrong on the angel then.
where are you at,
No.
Dwarf Angels?
One of them's an angel, and it's like a solid white body. Like the best I could say, it almost looks like a silver dollar.
Kingi angel, Alex. Kingii, the kingi angel from Africa. That one. Oh boy, that is a beautiful fish.
See, I was thinking of
No, because
The
see, the
one-
one that I was talking about,
Yeah.
it was like 50 or 60 grand, like 5 or 6 years ago. Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, those things are like, what, 10,
Yeah.
15?
If
Seriously?
you can get them.
peppermint angels are 40,000.
That might have been the one I was thinking of then.
I know that there was somebody on Reef to Reef that had one that there was a. These guys are really expensive too.
Somebody
You never-
had it. I can't remember if it was Reef to Reef or it was one
Those
of the
guys.
forums not too long ago.
Interruptus are really expensive too.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Wow.
See,
and not
your
exactly
camera's
reef
doing
safe.
that again.
That's weird. It's probably my Wi-Fi because I'm not on a hard connection.
Like here, matter of fact, I believe I just got a small little clip a little bit ago. I could be wrong. Let me go check.
Yeah, there's some
I'm-
pretty expensive fish out there you don't see very often.
Oh, hey, Hector. Welcome. Calypso's Reefs is here. 30 to 40K. I'm thinking, is that for peppermint angels?
Yeah,
I'm-
peppermint angel.
I lost track of the chat.
No, I'll send it to you after the stream, so that way you can see what it looks like.
Sure. Cool. I'll show you the picture I found of a kingy angel. Oh, come on. Computer's not cooperating. I'm trying to drop
These
it.
guys are
airdrop
pretty
it.
cool too.
I
Oh,
believe that was the
yeah.
one that I was talking about.
Clarion.
The yellow and
The one on the left.
oh, the clarion. Like they get like this big, like
Hold
2
on,
feet
let's see what
across
their
or something.
size is. Looks like it says 23 centimeters on them. That's pretty good
Is
size.
that all?
That's a big fish.
23 centimeters? That's like 8.5, 9 inches,
I
right?
wonder. Yeah, but there's some other angels though that get really big.
Isn't 10
Yeah.
centimeters like 2.5 inches?
10 centimeters is 4 inches.
Yeah, it's 2.54 centimeters per inch.
Yep.
Let's see, gray angels get pretty big.
They
get
do.
35. French angels get pretty big too.
Yep. Here's the tiger angel.
Ooh.
Nice.
Cool, eh? Yeah, these fish, it's $2,000 on the site that I found it. There is one available in a city near me at a place called Big Show Frags, and I think he might be 6,000. But
God.
I don't have that kind of money to throw away on something that I might kill accidentally.
Yeah, no kidding. Or just might randomly starve to death.
That's right.
Yeah, that's some of those fish that command those prices. I mean, they're not even collected unless they got a buyer.
Diacanthus, I think he's talking about Genicanthus spinous female if it's solid white. Oh, maybe.
No, but I just
believe
happened to flip on one I've never seen before.
Cairn, swallowtail Genicanthus spinous is another. Ooh,
yes,
that's
that
pretty.
is the one.
Having another good luck. Which one is that, Alex? The
Bellina angelfish.
Oh.
There for a while, somebody had one up for like 40 or 50 grand. I can't remember what. I think it was Live Aquaria. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in the next decade or so because some of them, like the Clarion Angels, I heard that they were looking to breed those possibly.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, well, someone saying they saw Clarions off the Channel Islands.
Now, mind you, my memory is pretty shot, but I do distinctly remember them wanting to start a breeding program with them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of those programs that are probably in early stages. They're starting to do it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, JV says he had a queen angel in a fish-only tank years ago that was beautiful, but certainly not the prices that we're talking about.
I think some of the other. Honestly, Annularis is one of the most beautiful ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do miss my angels. I want to get them back in the new tank. I love my blue face too. That fish was a stunner.
Yeah, for the fish only zone. See, I remember. Yep. How many gallons is the fish only zone going to be, Alex?
More than 700.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy, that's awesome. See, clue number one. Remember that, everybody. Part of Alex's display will be over 700 gallons. Part of it.
And this time around, the plan at the moment is the fish only section will only be approximately 1/3 of the total tank volume.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Now we're
so
getting
you're
somewhere.
Going for a sizable display portion.
Yep.
He's going to go and cut all the neighbors' lawns all summer so he can save up enough money for the salt.
I don't know. It depends on what
I've been doing that
you
for
live
the salt I need in my filtration room.
I was going to say, depends on what neighborhood you live in, because, you could be living in some very influential people and make good chunk of change picking grass.
That's for sure.
I have enough fun cutting my own grass that I did for the first time this week. So.
Oh, did you? We have mud. I could turn the screen and show you out the window where the patio is right outside the window beside me here, and it's the barbecue is like on an angle like this.
I just spent 3 days using a weed whacker to get my front and rear yard.
Yeah, I felt I needed to do more weed whacking.
I had to charge my weed whacker because unfortunately I got one that's got those batteries.
My husband wants one of those. So what advice should I give him?
Do you guys have a big yard?
Operated one.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a lot of weed whacking spaces?
Well, we're currently working on the landscaping plan for the front, which is going to be probably 40 feet worth of stone walls in different configurations, and there'll be grass along at least 30 of it.
Oh, he'll be good with the little electric one. Anything bigger than like the interior size of a diamond of a baseball.
Oh, okay.
Something bigger than that, you want gas power.
Right.
Anything smaller, you want electronic, you know, you can battery operated.
Right.
You got about 30, 45 minutes of solid run time.
Yeah.
And if it's thick, you might as well cut it down to the 15 to 25.
All right. That's good to know.
Because unfortunately, unlike gas, the torque on the electric ones versus the gas ones, once it starts, she's going to do it again. Once it starts to engage,
evil.
Once the torque starts to engage and it starts getting resistance on it, it'll start killing the battery quicker.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if you could put some sort of like if you got a colander or something out of clear plastic, if you could put that over top of that clam, the flow would still go, I don't know. Or maybe
that's the only thing I'm worried about.
An egg crate basket. If you assembled a basket out of egg crate that you could invert over top of that clam, then all the water and light could still get in and at least keep the fish away from it until you can do something. Because that can happen really fast when they're
well, I've thought about putting my hand in the tank real quick and turning this clam around to see if the other side is damaged.
Yeah.
But I haven't exactly figured out what to do yet.
Yeah, sometimes you feel so helpless because you don't know what the best thing is to do.
I mean, I can get the fish out the tank really quickly. However, the problem is the 15-gallon that everything was in is not set up. Neither is my quarantine system, and I wouldn't have anywhere to put it right away. So
you don't have a sort of a breeder box or fish trap or an acclimation box or anything like that?
The best I'd be able to do is drill some holes in a Tupperware container and, you know, confine her to that.
If it's going to save your clam, even if it's temporary.
Yeah, well, the other problem I'm running into is the portion of the country I live in. I know of about 2 people in the city I live in that have salt water.
Yeah.
But I'm not far from one of the bigger cities around here. But even still, even on Reef to Reef, I think we have a thread with like 4 or 5 people in it. For a local group around our area.
Oh, hey, One Golf Jones. He says use a strawberry basket.
I didn't even think of that.
Because that would be a quick fix. I mean, you might have to put something on top to keep it there if it wants to float.
Sand, and just throw some sand in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a couple options. I did a whole video on when Jack Blenny was sick and the contraption I rigged up to get him out of the tank, but in a spot where I could keep him in the tank so that I could net him out to medicate him.
Gotcha.
And I ended up using one of those colanders that are kind of a square shape and they have a handle and the corner is angled. So I put the handle over the edge of the tank and it was above the water level. So there was water in the thing. So I kept the Blenny in there until I was able to figure out what to do with them because he was swimming really oddly. And at first I wondered if he'd knocked himself in the head by driving his head into some rocks.
Yeah.
But I don't know what was wrong with him. And this was after his stomach got so fat. You were talking earlier about looking like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
It did not look healthy. So I didn't know what was wrong with him. So I got him out of there and with this odd swimming and he just kind of laid there, but he was still breathing and his eyes were still moving. And I ended up treating him in Epsom salts by just dipping him in salt water mixed with Epsom salts because I had read somewhere about if he's blocked up or whatever, that this would help him. It was a really weak solution. And I did that for 3 or 4 days and he recovered.
Yeah, it's like giving them
like an enema or laxative or
it's like laxatate or giving them laxatate.
Yeah. So and he lived another 2 years.
Well,
But anyway,
the next time she comes around up front, I'll see if I can get a front view of her, because where she was just at right here,
mhm.
as I started to get close to her, she popped up and disappeared. But matter of fact,
Yeah.
there's a good view right there. The size of that stomach.
Yeah. Oh, his was even bigger. It looked like he'd swallowed a marble. And
Oh,
it
it's
looked
pretty close.
really, really taut.
About every 2 days, it gets a little smaller, and then the day in between, it gets a little fatter, and then it gets smaller, and yeah.
Yeah. But she's swimming around normally.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, this guy was kind of, he'd swim sideways and then he'd fall down, and then he'd get up and swim a little bit and then fall down on the other side. Like, it was not normal swimming whatsoever.
All right. I'll see if I can turn her around without her flipping out. We'll find out shortly.
And what kind of clam is that?
I believe Alex corrected me last time I was on. I believe it's the hippopotamus.
Hippopus?
Yeah, I believe so. I went back and looked at my pictures.
Oh, hey, Chimp the Reefer. Glad you could make it.
I believe it was the hippopotamus, or however you pronounce that.
Hippopus is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's that one.
Well, it opened right up.
Yeah, and it's the thing I'm loving about it. The only thing that I'm seeing, I mean, it could actually be going for the algae on the side of the mantle. Because there was a couple little algae chunks right here by this little white dot right here.
Do angelfish do that? Do they go after algae?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Coral beauties will eat just about anything. That's the challenge with angels, is that they'll pick at just about anything.
Okay. Because I mean, she's always over here with the lawnmower cleaning on this. I mean, she's keeping the cluster around the mushrooms clean. And I mean, they're just now starting to pick on this one with the zinnias.
Mm. Okay, JV, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, angelfish, they'll eat just about anything that they can get a hold of, and they're not afraid to try things, which is why they get real questionable on Reef Safe. Because
that's the only, I've heard horror stories with these things.
Yeah, that's why I won't keep angels in my reef tanks.
Like, I've heard people
having a separate fish tank.
I've heard people having angels in their tank for 3-4 years and nothing. And then, they get the like bam bam zotes. And then the fish goes on like a coral spree that's like 10 grand.
Yeah.
And like nukes half the tank.
Wow. It's almost like once they get a taste for it, you may as well give up and get them out of there.
Well, the other challenge with them too is because they're constantly picking at stuff all day, it's impossible to watch them. So while corals might be doing okay, even if they come up to it once or twice a day and nip at it, that might irritate things or slow down growth. And
yeah,
it's sometimes too. I mean, I've had people tell me and I've seen it on video where fish change their behavior when you're around.
Just like kids.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
I've
seen a few things where I was like, don't you eat that. And then I see a fish eating something when I'm not around because I'm watching them, and you just can't be there all the time to watch.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure.
Oh. Sounds like I got a puppy out on the floor instead of in the bed. I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you guys want to see the video? I think I've got the video finally up here. This is pretty jankety because I used a viewer for my cell phone and I'm in and out of the water and there's a lot of noise. So let's see if I can actually get it running. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one right here. So this is the 150, and I don't know if you guys can hear me over all the noise that this video is making.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're
Oh,
good.
good. Okay. There's my clove polyp acreage. That's from
Oh, wow.
Mollywood, that one. The gold chalice is inundated with algae, and there's the Duncan. The war coral, that's algae down there, the green stuff, dark stuff. That green goniopora is on its way out, I think.
Was that a strawberry shortcake that just went past the bottom of the screen?
No, that was Montipora hirsuta. This
Looks
is
like
what
an
I.
acro?
Yep. It's
Okay.
it's actually a Montipora though. Yeah.
Nice. I love those cloves.
They just take off like crazy. I am going to try and frag them though, because currently 2 or 3 polyps is going for about $50 retail at the LFS.
Wow.
So I could probably get at least
supply money.
Yeah, I know, right? I could probably get at least 10 per frag. So
I
and
was
this
going to
is
say. Go
this is
ahead.
the other this is the other tank,
Ooh.
the 100, and there's no filter, and the light here is different. There's no white. I guess I should have turned the white light on. My Scully.
I love that hammer.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
I got a nice, beautiful octospawn coming here shortly.
I love those.
It's supposed to be huge too.
And that's my turbinaria.
It's
Another
a what?
buttons. A turbinaria. Scroll
That's that blue
coral.
and green one? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's the fox coral. You can barely see it. Recordia. That's what's left of Lucy after the green wrasse spit sand in its mouth.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that's kind of what she looks like right now. Let's see if I can get
I
this
can't
out
wait
of
until
here.
you get the thing going up and running back up again.
Oh yeah, you and me both. It's it's been so long. Like, what are we? End of April now, and I don't have any complaint as far as the time frame, because however long it takes the guy to do a good job is how long I will wait.
Exactly.
Rather, rather than
needs time.
Yeah, rather than rush. And I can't really arrange to have it brought into the house. We're talking the other day about making sure we get a lift truck that has a pallet jack. I think I got the name on the stream a couple weeks ago. Somebody identified it. Thank you. I can't remember who that was. And Aquarium Cabinet Solutions. Hey there, Nick. How are you doing? And so as long as we get a lift truck with a pallet jack so that it can be moved into my garage, once I have it here, then I'll know that I can call the guy I'm planning to call to move it. And I was considering calling him anyway, even though I don't have a time frame, to make sure that it's something he'll do. They do that kind of stuff all the time. So I'm not expecting he would say, no, it's too big or whatever, but just in case.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever it gets here is when it gets here, and we're ready. We've got everything else ready. We haven't lifted a tile off the floor yet or cut the slot for the pipes to go through upstairs here, but that's, an hour's work. And we just want to make sure that we're going to be end up putting it in the right place and don't end up offsetting it accidentally and have to take 2 tiles up.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing. Take off just as much as you need.
Exactly. Hey, just a reefing thing. Welcome. Welcome from, I think, Dubai. I think that's where you are.
Ooh. UAE.
Yep.
I heard somebody's got a really incredible reef out on the Palm.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
You know about the Palm, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Is it sold out yet? Do you know? Or are they still? They still got. Yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I can tell you on that one is that entire plan project, that entire thing, all happened before the current drama in the world.
Yep. Well,
And
it was started back probably.
01.
I want to say the 90s, the 80s or
Late
90s.
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they started the land reclamation process in like 97, 98. And by the time they got it fully up and built, it was 01. And then it just took a serious dive because world events went completely left field.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the way of the future. We're going to have to be expecting worldwide events to constantly be in flux. And I know that, everybody talks about, it'd be wonderful to have world peace. I'm not sure that'll ever happen.
No.
And not to be negative about it, it's just human nature the way it is.
Oh, I'm being realistic about it. I know it's going to go bad. We're getting badly outnumbered by the stupid people.
It's true. Oh God, please let's not talk about that. I've been getting into it on Facebook, and I shouldn't. My husband says don't comment, and I'm going, I want to comment, and then people who can't make a sound argument always descend to personal insults.
Yeah.
Or emotional attacks, and I'm a debater. I don't descend to that.
Give me facts and a straight up intellectual conversation. I don't want stupidity, and I don't want personal opinions.
I love nothing better than a fight when I know I'm on solid ground, but I won't argue. But I won't argue with someone who is merely picking a fight.
Yeah, they're arguing to argue.
You know what? Exactly. If I had a boss once who used to ask me what I thought about something. And this was when I was like in my early 20s. So I would tell him, and then he'd spend the whole freaking day trying to change my mind. And that used to drive me mental. It was like, okay, I do have an open mind, but just because I have an opinion that's different from yours, it's not wrong.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so anyway, so if someone's looking for a fight and I see that, I just don't even engage because it's not worth it.
What you doing, Alex?
It's water.
Yeah, I noticed he's been looking down at that a couple times.
Uh-huh.
You're muted, Alex.
It's the skimmer.
Oh.
Cool. Hey, pelagic swimmer. Welcome. Glad you noticed the stream. And speaking of that, if everybody has a second and you wouldn't mind, if you hit the thumbs up, if it gets high enough, YouTube will push it out in recommendations. So more people might see the stream. So that'd be awesome.
Outstanding. Alex, you're on mute. So if you're trying to talk, we can't hear you.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
There's probably a lot of pump noise and stuff, so it's just filling up.
It's not too bad.
Looks like it's nice.
There we go.
Bubble content. Oh, wow. So it won't overflow past that point?
We'll find out.
Yeah, I see a little bit of bubble going over, but that's not too much.
It hasn't fully figured itself out, but I could put a siphon on it and lower it down if I want.
Nice.
So now I'm testing out my new ring here today to see if that works.
Is that to make it waterproof? Is that the problem you were having before?
Yeah, because to put PVC and HDPE together, they don't like each other with glue.
Right.
So it always leaked a bit, and it was really bad when I was testing it. So I wanted to try it out and see if I could correct that, which it looks like I have.
It looks good.
Still getting a little high in here, and it's overflowing, but that's okay.
Well, because you normally have the cup there, right?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on here. Do that real quick.
Taryn, love the stream today. Just doing water changes on all my tanks. Does spilling water on the floor count as washing the floors? Only if you wipe it up again.
Exactly. Jiminy Christmas, his skimmer cup's almost the size of my tank.
Crazy, man.
But then again, I've seen some really solid size tanks and systems. But yeah.
There we go. Back on top.
Nick, Aquarium Cabinet Solutions says, has Alex got fish and coral in that tank yet? No, it's still freshwater. This is the fish room part of it. And Alex, you still got your temp tank set up, right?
Yeah, I still got the temp tank. I won't lie though. I have put some salt into the system. I don't want to do a lot. So, but yeah, temp tank's doing all right. So at this point, it's just a waiting game. So
Yeah.
I do need to clean my skimmer though. It's a little funky.
Looks like my Deltec the first time I cleaned it. That's why I included that in the video to show how well it worked, even though it was really disgusting.
Yeah, it's a little rough in here right now, but you know, it's okay. It'll get better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sticking to the same thing. I ain't poking sticks at anything in here. I just want to get. I'm probably less than a couple weeks away from doing this, so
Yeah. Yep.
who knows?
We have Lynn Reef Nerd. I think it's Lynn Reef Nerd. It says Lynn in the waiting room. I think I shall bring her in. Hey, Lynn.
Hey, Cindy, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear us all okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. So what are we looking at? This is gorgeous. But wait a minute. You haven't been in here before, have you?
I have.
Have you?
Yep.
Okay.
No
All right.
questions.
All right. That's what you were thinking right away, right? Darn. I had a good one. I'll have to save it for next time. So tell us what we're looking at here.
Ooh.
This is actually my display. Here, let me grab this phone off.
Oh, you got a nice chunk of torches.
Oh, yeah. I'm a bit of a torch freak.
Yeah, I would be the same exact way. Ooh.
You're a serious collector.
Was that a true Aussie gold in the right corner?
This one?
Far right corner of tank.
Floor right.
That one. The big one in the corner.
This one was sold to me as an RRU version 2 Holy Grail. You know, it doesn't.
Okay, so it is a Holy Grail. Okay.
Well, it's not the typical Holy Grail, but it's named that way by them.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying something is I got one that was just like that when it was small, like the one next to it. Beautiful orange, beautiful coloration, nice silver tips. And then when it started getting longer, it started getting that purple to it. And then eventually the gold just like fell off and it turned purple like the one up and above on the left.
Yeah. So I think.
And it turned purple just like that.
Yeah, I think like they used to call these guys Holy Grail. I think that's what Reef Builder said. I can't remember. I was listening to one of his streams. But here's like, so the typical one these days people think of is this green color.
Yeah.
But I think they used to call these Holy Grail. But, you know, I just named them as I buy them. I don't even know anymore.
The point
they look
is,
pretty to me.
And look at the variety. That's the awesome part of it.
Oh, well, just the different variations of colors.
Yeah.
Like she's got some nice green, like the one on the far left. That's a nice green, but the double-headed small one in the front on the right, I like that green over the green on the left. But that's just me personally.
It won't focus very well, though.
Yeah, I had that same problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. But I like them, but they just get too expensive. I think I'm pretty much done for now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Taryn's Little Ocean says, "Hi, Lynn, beautiful tank."
Thank you. So mostly I love acros.
Well, Carlos 23 is saying Lynn has a very nice collection of a little bit or a lot of everything.
I get a little obsessive. Yes, yeah, that one I agree with.
Well, I know
first step to recovery is admission.
Because this is what happened when I get obsessive. I buy a frag tank, and it just ends up being a hoarding tank.
Another colony tank. Outstanding.
And,
I
and
call it hoarding.
the other aspect of that is that to get help, you have to ask for help.
Yep.
So maybe we don't want help.
Here's my most expensive fish.
Uh-huh.
Did you just pick him up?
No, I've had him for years.
Oh, okay.
He just turned expensive this year.
Ah, I get you.
Very
But
nice.
that's my green wrasse. I actually love that guy, Cindy.
Yeah.
My favorite. He takes care of all my planaria, the flatworms.
Yep.
So
See, and he's still like, I wouldn't say he's an adult yet. And mine looked exactly like that for a long time, and now is about 7.5 inches long, so maximum size. He's about 5 years old, and in the last couple of years is when he turned into a real jerk. And he's just looking for food, right? So
yeah.
I can't be upset with him from that perspective, and so I rehomed him, and now he's flipping over acan colonies in the LFS, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
that'd be
these
a
guys
dead
are
fish quickly.
That's beautiful.
Oh, is that color
Trachyphilia.
morphing from purple to green? Or are
There's
those
actually
two separates?
of them. Yeah,
Two.
there's my little fatty.
Oh, okay.
If you can see him.
It's like the green spot.
Yeah.
Green.
Can't see
There
him.
for a second, I thought my screen wasn't loading right, and then I saw the green spots.
Very nice.
Can't find my algae blenny. He's pretty fat too. Somewhere around here. He's pretty good at hiding though.
Yeah, they are. They can be. Yeah, so everybody, if you're interested in seeing really, really nice pictures of all of Lynn's corals, she has an Instagram account and often posts pictures there.
Outstanding.
So, and I think you're Lynn Reef Nerd, all one word, on Insta. Is that right?
Lynn.reef.nerd.
Lynn.reef.nerd. Cool.
Well, I'll be on that one shortly.
Yeah, check that out. So what have we got on the back growing on the glass?
Let's see. That's a Monty, and then I didn't have space for these Typhastria, so I ended up just sticking them to the back, and they've been growing pretty well.
Yeah, it looks cool.
That was going to be my next question because I got a couple Cyphastrias coming.
I just didn't have space. I'm just really big about hoarding.
Well, we all aspire to get somewhere.
Yep.
And that torch collection you got right there is kind of my goal. So thanks for giving me an idea and thought of what to strive for.
A lot of these don't really have names, but I just really enjoy them.
And that's the thing with me. Don't get me wrong, having the nice, beautiful, like a blue agave Zoe, that would be kind of cool. But paying $40 for a name Zoe for a single head, I'm not too happy about that.
No. And if you're me, the first thing you think is I'll probably kill it.
Yeah, it's going to get in the tank. Sadly enough, I did that. I had a hermit crab on one of my frag rack, and I went to go flick the hermit crab off. Well, I flicked, the hermit crab fell off, and so did half the Zoe.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I accidentally plucked my Zoe in half. I literally had it in the tank for like 3.5 hours.
Oh, boy.
I didn't understand that the hermit crab was eating the algae on the frag plug.
Yep.
Yeah, rookie mistake.
There's Chewy. Oh my God, so cute.
What a cute dog.
A new puppy.
Very cute. Well, what I like about seeing all the torches is just even knowing that this kind of a variety exists, right? That it's out there.
Yeah, no kidding. My wife always keeps asking me about why you always like the greens and the oranges, because they pop at night during the colors.
Yeah, this is actually my whitest time of the day. Let's see if I can change colors on them.
B. Spieg is asking if that's a Space Invader on the far left, and I think it is.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's a well-known space. It's a well-traveled Space Invader, right?
Tank looks really nice.
Thank you. No, I don't go on vacation, so.
Yeah. I mean, don't we not all do that?
Yeah, I go.
That is actually one of the troll questions, you know. Have you ever said no to travel because of your reef tank?
I mean, me personally, with as basic as I keep my reef tank, I'd be more worried than anything.
Yeah.
Because if something goes wrong, I ain't got nothing to tell me anything's going wrong.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't know if Reefing with O is still listening, but I did put the order in for the Hydros Control 4 starter pack. So there you go. You guys, between Greg Carroll and Reefing with O and Reef Keeper, you guys all like yours so much that I've decided to get one.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
A new scale of technology to learn.
Yep. Well, it's, you know, my husband pointed out that it's going to be good to have something that can give me information. And that's really what I want. I want information so that I can make decisions. I'm not looking for something to do anything for me because I want to make those decisions, and I don't trust the technology that much. But if it can let me know something like the temperature has spiked, or
yeah.
You know, or even
your
the
pH just went through the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Anything like that, provided that I keep things calibrated and keep probes clean and make sure that I'm doing the maintenance I need to do to keep them accurate, you know.
See, that's my only concern. And then my other problem is trying to build a reef on a really, really serious budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand. That
Like,
was me when I started.
Well, even with my tank being up for almost, 2-3 years, it like I might have $100-$200 that I can spend throughout the year.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's me limiting, because I know if I ask or try and push for anything more than that over a significant time frame, it's going to make my next optional
Yeah.
vary that much longer out, and I'm tired of waiting. I've been waiting 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling. Hey, Sharbuckles Reef, nice to see you. And yep, yeah, Nick, I've come over to the dark side, kind of. I've kind of come to the gray side, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking about either possibly something like a Neptune light or something Apex light, something I can just put some probes in and get, my readings, and then I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and there's the nice thing now compared to when they first came out is there's a whole body of information you can get access to about how they work, what they do, what they can't do, the problems you might have, how to avoid them, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not to mention people already got pre-programmed sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can go, okay, well, I run my tank roughly around yours. You got this setting, blah, blah, blah. Let me get your docs file.
Yeah, exactly.
Poof. Now you ain't got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Lynn Skookumchuk says, this is a very nice selection, Lynn. When did you start this?
I started in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes. Wow, you're focused.
Well, here's the other major question. What portion of the country you live in?
I am in Maryland, so I'm close to all the Virginia people.
Well, that means you ain't far from me.
Where are you at?
I'm just off of the southwest corner of PA, probably about 20 miles south of Morgantown.
I have no idea what that's at. I'm horrible with geography.
The southwest corner of Pennsylvania.
I used to think like Washington, D.C. was in Washington, so.
Oh, well, the little panhandle of West Virginia that sticks up to the southwest corner of Pennsylvania. I'm roughly in that corner.
Okay. Have you ever
I'm on
heard of
the-
Westchester?
It sounds familiar.
That's over near Philly.
Yeah. So I actually used to live there, and I still don't know Pennsylvania. So.
Okay, so you're on the east side of the state. Yeah, I'm sub-southwest side of state.
And I'm right in the middle.
Outstanding. That means you're up there by Fish of Hex.
No, he's further east than me.
Oh, okay.
Pennsylvania is beautiful.
Yeah, well, see, I'm a desert rat. I'm from the West Coast. This
I heard they
greenery
don't-
to me is...
Pennsylvania doesn't charge retirement tax, right?
I don't know. I'm not retired.
Oh. I've been looking.
Well, retirement's going to get taxed no matter where you go. Unfortunately, with that one.
For some reason, I
No,
thought
we
somebody
have I was going to say, I know we have the second highest gas tax in the country.
Yeah,
Oh,
your
boy.
guys' gas is retarded. We can
Oh,
get
try-
gas in Uniontown and it's like $3.75. We can cross the state line and it's like $2.50.
Yeah.
Try $1.28 a liter.
Yeah, Canadian prices are just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And we
what
just
is
got
that in gallons by chance?
It's like 3.8
that's-
liters per gallon.
yeah, so it's almost $5 a gallon. Well, 4 something a gallon. But we just got a carbon tax put on.
Yeah.
So that added a lot. So we'll see.
Well, that and there's a whole bunch more political things that I guarantee you don't want to get into on your channel, so I'll stay away
No.
from those.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I could. But
yeah, but that's a whole different debate.
it's not something, it's not a side of people I want to learn about or a side of me that I want people to learn about. Because
Gotcha.
like a lot of people, I have strong opinions, but this is my hobby. I just want to enjoy it.
Exactly. And that's why I said I would stay away from all that.
Yeah. Just a reefing thing said he came back after a month's vacation. The tank suffered a little, but it's recovering. Wow.
Month.
That must have been a leap of faith to be gone that
Yeah, for
long.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have lost my brains at 2 days.
I was away from my system for like it was like a week and a half. I came home for a few days and left for another 2 weeks.
That's crazy. Well, I had a Wise Cam set up on mine when I went on a vacation on a cruise to the Caribbean, and I actually did an update just before Christmas using the Wise Cam of my
Nice.
tank from the room on the ship.
Nice.
It was, I mean, not that I could do anything, right? All I could do is
No,
look
it's just
at it, but-
it's just the sheer fact that you can look at your tank while being out on the ocean.
Yep.
That was the only thing I was worried about when I had to go back home a couple of years ago. I was worrying about something going wrong with my tank while I was gone, and unfortunately, I was the only one keeping track of the tank.
Yep.
So I wasn't too happy with that, but unfortunately, I set up my system to where it didn't fall apart while I was gone, so I was happy.
Yeah. And like you said, it's simple, which also makes it a little easier.
I try to keep it the basic way as possible, go off of what your corals are doing.
Yeah.
If your corals start, it's normally 7-8 inches, it's now 4.5. There's something going on in the tank you need to start testing.
Yeah. Lynn, I think is that a fox flame in the middle that producer Reef's asking about? I think I saw this on Insta.
Lynn!
Nice.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Whoops.
I answered him on the chat. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Looks good.
Okay.
Whoa. Thank you. Aquarium Cabinet Solutions, $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. And that's in pounds. So that's significant. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It's like $25.
And I
something
love
like that.
I love your picture. The tang in a little tiny glass. That's cool.
Nice.
Thanks a lot. That's great. Oh, just a reefing thing said he had a friend check every other day and set up a camera for a live feed too. Yeah, because then you kind of know what to tell your friend to look for.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have people I trust like that around me.
It's hard. I don't really either, other than my daughter. And she sprayed Raid in the same room as the clownfish tank the other day. And then she said, I hope that's okay. We've got ants coming in. And I just went, you know what? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, not
'Cause
much I
what
can do about
I
that.
say, right?
That's one of them. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and pray to the wind now.
Yeah,
Let's see how this works out.
Well, she did open the door after I said that. So, what can I do? I mean, they've done me a massive favor by letting me have my tanks there. So I can never repay them for that because that's been amazing. Peter in Croatia says, we got you beat with gas prices almost $2 a liter over here. American dollars. Oh, man.
God.
And Diacanthus says, vacation peace of mind is a high metric to meet.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very true.
Gotta have a plan. Gotta have a plan.
Donation towards hydros. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I mean, it's hard to go on vacation when I have no money left after this tank.
That's my problem too.
There is that.
I don't think my wife would tolerate the, what do you mean we don't have money for vacation?
Yep.
Unfortunately, life would go, yeah, it's just not going to work out for you this week.
Well, in my case, I've been diligently setting aside all my YouTube money as it comes in, trickles in, and that's what I'm using to buy the hydros because that way it doesn't affect the grocery budget.
Nice.
And, oh, that looks cool. Now, what are we looking at now?
This is my overflow.
Good God. I need to buy something out of your tank.
Oh, man. I love that torch that's kind of down on the right, the kind of reddish purple with green, or is that a hammer? I can't
Hammer.
tell. Cool.
Let's see.
Very
I'll
pretty.
take it off the. Hold on, real quick.
I like that newt green hammer in the middle. Ooh, that looks beautiful.
The one to the right of it, the purple, like the dark purple.
It's I think it's a frog spawn.
Oh, okay.
That looks like an octo spawn.
I really don't know. They all look the same to me.
Looks like a frog. Not enough to get to octo level.
Well.
Now that looks like a frog or an octospawn to me, the big one.
Yeah.
Big purple one, because they have multiple. You
just went vertical.
And silent and stopped. Just a reefing thing had to train his friend for more than 3 months to go away.
That sounds
I would believe it.
And Sharbuckle says, geez, the overflow's looking nicer than most reefs.
Yeah, no kidding. See, this is the reason why I'm glad I actually hopped in one of these. Because now I get to see everybody else's stuff active and live versus just catching, an upload clip on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
That and, can actually have conversations with people.
Oh, Lynn said her phone died.
Well,
I'm glad you could come in, Lynn, because it was really awesome to see everything. What I'll do is I'll take you out of here so that you can tend to your phone, just in case this is draining your battery. And yeah, but if you do want to come in, you have the link. It's the same link for the whole stream, but the link is different for every stream. So next week's stream would have a different link.
Gotcha.
Coolio. Yeah, everybody's loving your collection there, Lynn. That's awesome. Neat.
See, I almost want to go full, like, I don't know, LPS softy mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much softy, though. But I want to get a nice, good Euphilia garden like she had going there.
Yeah.
That's my end result, is a nice, big, wavy tank.
Yeah. Well, if I have all my arches lined up along the side, kind of on angles, it's really tempting to put a Euphilia at the very top of each one.
That would be cool.
And then have encrusting corals growing up the sides in all different colors. that just, I'm about the color. I absolutely love all the different colors that we have access to. It's crazy.
And
Yeah,
that's-
sure.
Go
And
ahead.
Sharbuckle says softy tanks rule. And he can speak as a person who had probably the most beautiful softy tank on YouTube a couple of years ago, till he took it down. Lynn said, I didn't mean it to be like that, but I ran out of space and just ended up adding more tanks.
I mean,
the
that's my
feeling.
plan.
Yeah,
Hobby
exactly.
goals.
Well, and the thing is about softies, depending on what you get, most of them grow pretty fast once they're happy. So
Yeah.
it's a really good way to fill a tank up and get lots going on in a relatively short period of time. Look at that toadstool. That's cool. And the
That is-
pajama cardinal.
That is the supposed weeping willow, but I'm not really convinced.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah,
It is supposed to have green tips.
they're,
Or am I
they're
thinking
not
the
really
Tyree?
green. Yeah, on the camera you can't really tell. They're white tips.
Okay.
The
That
base,
looks like my weepy toadstool that I named the weepy toadstool because I knew it wasn't a weeping willow.
yeah. I took a chance. I got 3 frags for relatively cheap from Unique Corals, and I thought, well, Jake Adams has a hand over at Unique Corals, and I thought, well, maybe he sold them some frags of his weeping willow, but I wanted the softy anyway, and it came with those mushrooms, which are, there's some Recordias and then there's a Yuma, but they all came as a package deal, and I thought, well, I'll take a chance because I like toadstools anyway. And yeah, it's growing quickly.
Yeah. Yep. Mine is now a disc that's roughly 8 inches across when it's fully open.
Oh, wow.
And that is after I fragged a full 2 inches off the entire circumference. It came back in no time.
I just fragged, this is a long polyp toadstool. I just fragged him. He's got kind of a chunk taken out of the back there. But he was no polyp extension for about 12 hours and then just came right back. That's the thing I love about softies in general. I mean, you can frag them and it's like they're not even bothered by it.
Yep, definitely.
Ah. See, I just watched the angel come by and peck at the clam.
Uh-oh.
But the clam didn't twitch.
Oh. Okay.
So, you know, on the clam, you have the mantle, you have the piece that kicks out all the water, and then the interior sucking spot.
Yeah, the siphon or the mouth rather. Does the mouth draw in the water and the siphon pushes it out?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's when I first started saying something about it, a little over an hour ago, she was clipping the siphon side. So I turned it around and now she's clipping the other side.
Yeah.
But it didn't slam shut or it didn't twitch at all. So I don't know if it's clipping at the mantle or something close to the mantle.
Hard to say there.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing.
Because what I thought it was clipping on the other side when the clam would, you know, kind of slam shut and expel whatever it had in there. After I turned it around, there's no marks on the mantle. So I'm kind of confused.
You have a triggerfish.
There he is.
Is the video going right now? Oh, there it goes.
Sorry, that's my fault. The sounds changed because I had to stop my streaming thing because the battery ran out. So hopefully there won't be any nasty feedback or anything.
I've only heard myself once, and that's when I have more of a higher pitch.
Look at the Blenny.
I'm telling you, the dude, he posts up like that all the time.
Definitely watching you.
And that's what I mean by a fat stomach. Look at that.
That's a nice looking fish.
Actually, if that person's still on the chat, that is the view that they're looking for right there. That was talking about if it's a male or a female.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There's the vent.
Yep. I always get the anal fin and the caudal fin mixed up.
Aren't the caudals the
tail.
front ones that are right there?
No, I think those are the pelvic fins. I think the caudal fin is the tail fin, right? I don't know.
That one I'm unsure of.
I should learn. Peter.
Yeah, I should too, but you know.
The Blenny is a character for sure.
I love him. Whether it's a female or male, whatever, that is the most enthusiastic fish in the entire tank.
Yep. He's trying to communicate with you. It's like, come on, bud, where's the food?
I already gave it to him, but then every once in a while, and like every 3 or 4 days, I'll put like a quarter cube of mysis in there.
Yeah. My Blenny used to eat algae off the algae clip. And
I haven't put nori in yet.
And at that point, the clownfish were laying eggs, and the female clown used to tear back and forth. Well, I actually had to put 2 clips in because the female would chase everybody off, and then she'd rip all the algae off the clip, and it would just float around the tank.
Yeah.
And I think it's because she didn't like it in her territory. So I had to move them to the front and put 2 clips in so that at least the fish could get something off the clip without her running them off. And eventually she just gave up.
Oh,
Equals tail fin. Yeah.
Truss, I wonder if the if your angel or your coral beauty, if you did put nori in there, if it would start nipping at that instead of nipping at the clam. Because my coral beauty, he loves nori. I put a clip in about every other day, and he just devours it.
No, that's something I might have to check into then.
Yeah, they'll like nori.
Oh,
The challenge is always if they've tasted something and it tastes good, is they tend to keep coming back in their patrol for more.
Which that's the exact reason why I keep nori in, because I have a softy tank, and I saw him one day pick at a zoa, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do that, so I put nori in on a clip, and he's never
Not
even
a problem
looked,
since.
Yep, never even looked at a coral again. He loves his nori.
Good, then I might have to do that. Because it would be a real shame. I finally get my wife to pick something for the tank, and she actively picked it. I didn't say nothing. I didn't even point, nothing. It was all her.
Yep.
That would suck that, you know, she finally gets into it and then have to take the fish out less than 30 days later.
That sounds familiar.
That was a challenge with my first reef that I had when we were married. Is we went to the store, and I was like, well, you can pick out some fish, but there's some restrictions here. And literally every single fish she picked, I was like, no. She's like, oh, all the pretty stuff you can't get. What's the point? And then I'm like, well, we can get this. Well, I don't like those. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's the problem I got.
This is why I have a big fish tank and a reef tank. So now I can go, okay, that's fine.
It's not going in that tank, though.
I've had to do some swapping. That was another benefit of having the dueling display. When someone misbehaved, they got moved.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
I had to do that with the rabbit fish, the cigar wrasse. I think those were the only 2 that I did that with pretty actively. I had a little
Actively,
trigger
so they went from tank to tank to tank to tank?
just tank to tank.
Oh, I was going to say actively, you know, that kind of sounded like you had to move that thing a couple times.
No, they the rabbitfish picked at a trichophilia one day, and that was its
Deciding factor.
expulsion crime. And then the red cigar grass was flipping over my trichophilias,
Oh, wow.
and so he got banished to the big tank. And then I had a little whitetail trigger, and I had in there for a while in the reef tank, which he was doing pretty good. And then he started to get a little aggressive, so he got relocated and learned very quickly that he wasn't such a tough guy after all.
Yeah, he got put in the tank with the big boys.
Well, the clown trigger that was like 8 times his size kind of wasn't going to tolerate his crap.
Yeah, checked him once or twice and then told him to sit down.
Yeah, basically.
Crazy, man.
You gotta love life check moments.
He was an aggressive little bugger, though. I'll give him that. He didn't let up through the time I had him. He's a cool little fish.
See, and I'm watching your Coral Beauty here, and it's not like he's constantly going at the clam.
Yeah, it just every once in a while he'll rotate, or they'll rotate back around it.
Yeah. So it's not like he's obsessed with it or anything.
Yeah, I mean, one thing with angels that their behavior, like they go through the whole tank. They'll get a routine in, and that's what they'll do most of the day as they swim around. Oh, this looks like it might be tasty. Let me pick that. It just never ends.
Because a good majority of the day, as you see, the lawnmower and the Coral Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
That Coral Beauty, that when the lawnmower moves, Coral Beauty moves with it.
It's like they're buddies.
I mean, pretty close. I mean, they'll size each other up. The Coral Beauty it'll swim parallel to it and like legitly inch its body in closer, full sideboard view, and it'll body check the lawnmower. Like I was saying, Beauty's up there picking on there, lawnmower comes to there. When that Beauty backs off or the lawnmower backs off, the other one's going to back off. And as long as they're sitting there actively doing that, I think it's the lawnmower telling the Coral Beauty to back off. See? Lawnmower dips, Beauty dips.
Interesting. Yeah. Nick's saying restrictions, only fish Alex wants. But Alex knows what he can have versus what it would be nice to have, right? That's like me going for a unicorn tang when I've only got 300 gallons to put it in.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? Some of the fish, they say, oh, you have to give it a full 8 feet of swimming length, and I get that. But my tank diagonally is going to be just over 7 feet. So there you go, 5 by 5.5. If you do the math, it's like just over 7 feet.
That's equivalent to what, 540, 600 gallons?
It's 360. It calculates at 360 because it's 21 inches deep. But by the time I have a finished water line, because just because the glass is 21 inches high doesn't mean it'll be 21 inches of water.
Yeah, you're probably at around 18 and a half, 19.5, somewhere in that range.
19 and a half, something like that. I think that's what I've asked for the bottom of the weir. And it's around 325 that I figure it'll be in the end.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's not like I'm going to load it up with rock. There's going to be an area at the back that's going to be sort of like an amphitheater. And then arches everywhere. And I have some old coral skeletons that are already in the sump system that I've been curing since August. And so the shape of those is like branches coming up. So I just have to figure out how I'm going to use them. And those will probably go in the middle. So we'll see. I still don't know what the actual layout's going to be.
Is it kind of like Tonga rock?
No, it's actually massive skeletons that look to me like they're, I want to say some sort of,
Staghorn.
yeah, staghorn, or I'm trying to think of a couple of others that grow this way because they they have polyps. They have skeleton on both sides. So one side is not smooth like you would get on the underside of a Montipora, and then on
Oh, okay.
polyps, both sides have skeletal shapes, although they're different from each other. And I think they call those bispatulate when they're like that. And Hydnophora grows like that. Potato chip coral, or is that a pavona? Potato chip is a pavona. Some Hydnophora, I think, grows like that. Some types of turbinaria, scroll corals, grow like that. So
Okay.
I don't know exactly what they are, but they're bigger than the palm, like than my outspread hand at the ends, and the branches are solid. So they're as
Oh,
thick as
okay.
my arm, and then they narrow down to the base. I'm 100% sure they'd be illegal to get now, and I feel like they're probably about maybe 40 or 50 years old,
Oh,
as far
wow.
as how long they've been out of the ocean. So yeah. Lynn is asking True Skills what light you have on here. I think you mentioned it earlier.
It is a Core Life. Hold on. It is a 30 to 36 inch Core Life Seascape LED.
Nice. Is it controllable?
Correct.
Cool.
I do have a program schedule that I got as one of the reasons why I went with this light. But I mean, me personally, I would want a little more programmable to it, like a sunrise, sunset feature would be kind of nice, but it doesn't have it. Lights just come on, go off. That's it.
Right.
But I've got whites, blues, and RGBs.
Oh, nice.
So I got 3 separate spectrums that I can play with, but at the same point in time, I can do this to my tank.
Have you got any red going? Yeah, I could do that with my Kessel. Do you have any red on all the time? I was just thinking when you said that, if you have red on, maybe try turning it down.
I keep blues, and white, and that's it.
You don't use the red because that would encourage the algae to grow. Because of course, we're all red refugium lights these days.
Yeah, red and green are algae spectrums, and I try to stay completely away from those.
Yeah, yeah, I don't use mine at all.
The best I could equate mine out to be, my light out to being, other than having, you know, the like 7,500 Kelvin whites. Other than that, I try to keep my tank as close to AB blue plus spectrum as possible. I try to keep it as dark blue as I can possibly keep it.
Yeah.
And then I'll give it somewhere between a 6 and 8 hour white light photo period. And then from the red, green, and blues that come on at a lighter blue than the blues, they have roughly about an 11-12 hour photo period. But I need to chop that down to about 10, and I need to chop my whites down to about 6.5, because they're currently at about 8.5, 9 right now.
Right. Yeah, it's worth a try, definitely.
Well, I can almost guarantee it's going to help on that cluster in the corner with this rock over here. Mainly this cluster.
Yeah. It looks so pretty though, so lush.
It does, but it drives me nuts.
Well, and it's because we see it as undesirable, right? In a reef tank, we think that it is indicative of a problem of some type, and we've gotten used to thinking that way. I remember I had a massive clump of algae on the back of the Red Sea tank at one point, and my husband was actually kind of disappointed when I took it off because he really liked the way it flowed in the flow, like the way it moved and waved. And he was right. It did look really cool, but knowing that it's an undesirable thing because of what it represents, I removed it. But yeah.
Well, I'm not too okay. See, the best way I can explain it, I'm okay with this. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that.
Hmm.
There are 9 mushrooms on that rock.
Yeah, that's where it crosses the line. I totally agree with you. When it starts to
Hold
affect
on, let me
for
get
sure.
it so I can put my kickstand down so I can get this flat to the glass.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the big mushroom is the one way back up here in the back. That's the original one. It started right there and then walked across the rock. Like, it's legitly huge. But there is 9 mushrooms right there. And the crazy thing is the algae is only around the mushrooms.
I wonder if that's where food
It's
detritus
not.
levels.
That's the only thing I can think. It's not around the little tube, the white tubes that we were talking about.
Yeah.
None of the. I mean, there's a little chunk of algae right there, but this side of the rock, there's no algae
Yeah.
and no corals. On that side of the rock, there's algae and a lot of corals.
Have
Well,
you
a
ever
lot of
taken
algae.
Have you ever taken a turkey baster just out of curiosity and blown water at that rock to see if a lot of gunk comes off of it? Because maybe that particular spot is, you know how detritus tends to set
Yeah, dead zone.
in certain places. Maybe that's what happens. Is that's where
The only thing I can think of is when I do my water changes, I bring the tip of the hose in real fine and I use the tip of my fingers and I'll stick the hose down in and like try to suck up all the cavities and all the stuff, and then I'll start picking off the algae.
Yeah.
And like I might be able to get rid of that chunk and that chunk on my next water change, but this big chunk down here, I'm not going to be able to get rid of.
Yeah.
It's just big enough. I can't grab it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too about, I see the hermit crabs up there working away.
Oh yeah.
But the thing too is your corals overall might benefit from that stuff floating through the water until it gets filtered out. I mean, that was always the approach that I took, was to try and keep that stuff suspended in the water column so it could get filtered out. And it also had the side effect of the corals being able to feed off some of what's in there. I don't know. It's interesting. True Skills, Nick, Aquarium Cabinet Solutions is asking, do you know how to eradicate the algae? I think it's
I could do one of two things. Well, one of three. I do 24, 48-hour photo period blackout. Or I could go to the complete opposite, end of the spectrum and pull that rock out and dip it in a hydrogen peroxide diluted solution to kill off all the hair algae, and then let it sit for a couple days and pick it off and then rinse it off, and hopefully I get everything dead off of it and put it back in the tank.
Yeah.
Other than that, I couldn't. You're gonna have to educate me on that.
There is lots of things, like lots of options. Some
But I know peroxide kills it on contact.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's an oxidizer. Marcus says, find a good urchin. Honestly, I loved my urchin when I had him.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but unfortunately, I live in a really
That's right.
rural, like Walmart is 4 miles. Now, it might only be 4 miles, but that's a 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
Like the windy roads out this side of the country, that I've never seen so many.
Yeah. Yeah, that does make it tough. Your options are limited.
And the fact that, even though this is a very small state, we're known as the mountain state. I mean, it's a mountain for a reason.
Yeah.
If you were to legitly flatten this state out, I mean, you could almost closely, and I mean closely, like twice the size of Ohio.
Yeah.
Like, this state is ridiculous. From here to the gas station, and I'm partway up a hill, mind you, this. From here to the gas station is less than 1/8 of a mile. Okay. The one house on the corner, 3 houses to the south of it, Their attic is adjacent to the basement of the first house. And we're talking serious hills here.
Yeah. Lots of switchbacks.
That's all it is. The entire state's like that. It's crazy. I've never seen so many windy roads in my life. I understand why they did it. They didn't want to have to chop down half that mountain to go through it, just to chop down the other half of the mountain on the other side of the valley.
It's like being in Italy, driving along the Amalfi Coast. It's the same thing, only you've got the ocean down there. The switchbacks and how they get up and down the mountain and down into the towns, and it's just crazy.
Well, here,
crazy.
Come off my camera real quick, because I'm about to go uncam.
Okay.
I'm going to go off my Wi-Fi real quick. All right, we're still here?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll kill cam real quick, and I'll show you what I mean by size of hill.
And it's funny, we don't, in this age of everything being delivered to your door in no time flat, we don't often consider like geographical barriers like this.
Yeah.
The impact on your everyday life, because we always just assume we can get anywhere quickly, and you can't. We take it for granted.
Like, to the extent of the trash company cannot send a normal sized trash truck to my street because of the hill. They have to come in with like an F-150 that's got like a small crusher on the back of it. And legitly, it's weird to see a U-Haul rental truck come up the hill to pick my trash up. But all right, let's let this car go ahead and get out of the way. All right, here we go. This is the equivalent of my hill.
Wow. That's like living in San Francisco.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, put it this way. Attic.
Uh-huh.
First floor.
Yeah.
The attic on the fourth house is under the basement of the first floor.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, I mean, going down backyards and whatnot, I have a beautiful view.
I bet.
Well, here in a second. Got this nice little cluster here, but when the trees aren't all green and whatnot, I've got a nice view here.
Yeah. Lots of countryside you can see.
Oh, it's like a solid 2 miles to the other side of the valley. Like, what is it? That crest right there is over 2 miles from me.
Huh. Wow. Oh, hey, Santiago Reefing. Nice to see you. Cue Ball's Will is saying very nice scape, Cue Ball.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's challenges like this,
Wrong button. Coming back in the house.
Yeah. It's challenges like this that we don't think about. So then back to your algae. Yeah, it's one of those things. Have you thought about cutting down feeding, or? And I guess the other thing is,
sorry, I had a little issue with my kids.
What do your tests show you for the algae?
My nitrates are I hate it when I do this because I have to look at the book every time. Oh. I never remember the numbers. I always remember what color's on the book. My nitrate or my phosphates were at, I think, 50 or better or higher. And I know that's kind of bad.
Is that, maybe that's nitrate you're thinking of?
No, phosphates.
Really? Phosphate at 50?
Yeah. Well, let me look at the card. I could be stating that incorrectly. All right, where is the little? All right, where's the? No, you are correct. NO3 is around 40 or better, and my phosphates are somewhere between 1 and 2.
Okay. So, and you're saying you're doing the weekly water changes?
Yeah, I'm actually due for another water change. I start that mix up tonight.
Yeah.
And then not tomorrow, but the next morning, I will do the water changes. I believe Tuesday morning, I'll do the water changes. After I take the kids to school, I'll come home and do a water change.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when my 29-gallon cube reached the point where I could not stay ahead of the algae, and it got away from me when I went on vacation and I had somebody come and look after the tank, and of course they overfed. It always happens.
And see, I think that's my problem. And the fact that most of my feeding is flake versus frozen.
Yeah.
So I'm introducing a lot of phosphates into my system just by food.
Could be. Yeah. And so that's when
And
I decided
I need to cut that down.
That's when I just decided to try no box. And it was after a lot of reading, a lot of deliberation, because I really don't want to go at my tank with chemicals. And
Yeah, and that's what I want to stay away from too.
and the whole thing is that what I learned about how it works is it feeds bacteria that consume excess food and decomposing matter, whatever. It feeds the bacteria that you need to compete with the algae for the overfeeding and the excess nutrients. Let's call it excess nutrients. It isn't always necessarily overfeeding. It's also fish waste and everything else, right?
Very true.
So, I mean, not that I want to go chemicals, and it did take about a month, but I went really slowly and it actually did work. And it didn't seem to negatively impact my tank. I don't trust these treatments that, like the fluconazole was as far as I would ever go. I wouldn't use some of this other stuff unless I knew a lot more about the mechanism by which it works. And I'm sure a lot of them work in similar ways to each other.
Yeah.
In my own experience, that was the approach I took when I had, like, all my rocks were covered with it. And I couldn't keep up with it. And I tried reducing feeding and I tried water changes and everything. I don't even remember what the nitrates were at the time. Maybe I wasn't even testing them back then because that was early on.
See, my other problem is right now I only have one snail and I believe either 3 or 4 hermit crabs.
Yeah.
And I believe my hermit crabs are due for a nice couple molting. And yeah.
And what are they going to do with shells?
I don't believe I have big enough shells for after the molting.
Yeah. That's
because the shell, I mean, I've got black-footed trochus snails in here. I've got nearite shells in here, but nothing is like, oh, what are those snails?
Turbo snails?
No, Nasarius.
Oh, yeah, the ones that go through the sand.
Yeah, I don't have any of those shells, but I have nearite shells. I mean, I've got these little shells.
Yep.
Astrea shells.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got, nearite, black-footed trochus snail shell. I mean, I've got shells in here, but nothing, they've never touched them.
Aquarium Cabinet Solutions says he's happy to help if you want to contact him. I think he has a website, I'm pretty sure. If you want to get in touch and see where you could go with it. Because I agree, it is a barrier. I mean, if you can't get the livestock that would help you, there's other options, but it becomes kind of limited after a while.
And see, the thing with me is we don't mind making a little trip, but I'm pulling a solid family of 6
Mm-hmm.
with
Yep.
2 under 3 years old. So she's not too inclined to go on an hour drive to go pick up $100 coop. Ooh. You saw that, right?
I missed it. The Coral Beauty again?
Yep. She come by and clipped this side and then clipped mantle. And what I'm seeing is mantle is starting to change.
Oh. Hey, Alex, thanks for coming by. Had to drop. Thanks for having me on. Nice to see you and hear more details about your heater, your hot water thing. That was interesting. Oh, Nick says he has a very easy, no lotions or potions method for ridding of algae. So that's aquarium cabinet solutions. Yeah, he's in the UK.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
it's worth checking it out.
yes, son. Say again?
Can I play Minecraft?
Yes, you can play Minecraft, my child. Gotta love the little highly mannered child.
Oh, that's nice.
He
Yeah,
uses them when he has to.
we're like
see?
almost 3.5 hours in. I guess I should be thinking about supper time here.
Yeah, I had to snack while we were in the middle of this. Had to have me some tortilla soup.
I don't even know what I'm going to make for supper. It might have to be a phone call.
Well, I mean, that's always a good thing, depending on if it's some good food or not.
Yeah, Nick says 35 years reefing under my belt. You're safe.
Oh, outstanding.
Nice.
I went ooh more because she said you were in the UK. I had taken the hint as in he was saying that he was local.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, there's the thing about this whole reef keeping thing. I mean, we've talked about it before. There's so many ways to do things, and sometimes there might be one thing that we're doing, which if we change it, has that chain reaction effect on many
To
of
fix everything.
and it could even be something that, we think is the right thing to do, and it was based on what was necessary at the time we started doing it. This has happened to me, where you start doing something and it does what it's supposed to, but then you don't know when to stop doing it, and you end up having a different kind of problem because you're now carried it beyond where it's needed. So
Yeah,
he says he prefers natural balance in a reef.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would preferably minus a little bit of carbon in there, the hang on the back.
Yep.
Other than that, I want to keep it as biological filtration as possible.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then it's a true living reef.
Yeah, and true and simple. Cool.
It's just a matter of being able to keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, it looks good to me. I love how active your fish are. And they interact well, like they're not trying to kill each other.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I like. The only thing that sucks though is when I got that Coral Beauty, I also got 3 Bangais. And yeah, oh, see? She just clipped the clam. And
she's going in the mantle.
Yeah, but I actually saw the lips on that one. They didn't actually touch mantle.
Oh, okay. So then, just like Alex said, just picking away.
Yeah, I mean, it did have some little string hair algae on the outside of the mantle, but the last couple pecks that I've been seeing isn't, well, that was lawnmower tail touching that one. But like, here's the best way I can explain it. Come on. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but there's a little right there above my finger.
Mm-hmm.
A little itty bitty piece. And that's
Look,
probably exactly what she's going to go for.
it looks like it's receded a bit.
Well, you know how on the intake side they have the couple slivers that go across.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that little piece of flesh that I just showed you is one of those sliver. It's the back sliver that goes across, connecting the tissue.
Okay.
So, I mean, hopefully I don't wake up in the morning and that clam's gone.
Yeah.
Because if it is, I'm just going to look at my wife and go, well, sorry.
She's got to
I'm
go.
not keeping a $40 fish that might end up snacking on every LPS in the tank. Not going to happen.
Yeah. It costs a lot in the end.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, have to go. Nice hanging out. When can we expect another worldwide stream? The last Sunday of every month. And on my YouTube channel, ReefGrrl, I'll have a reminder video every week about when the stream is. And so that comes out every Friday. And if you come back on the last Sunday of every month, 1 p.m. Eastern, that's the plan so far. Anyway, sorry. And Nick says you can drop your white light photo period right down to a few hours because within the white spectrum is red and green.
Gotcha. All right. So program will change tonight.
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't drop
I'll
it
cut that down.
Yeah, slowly.
Well, right now they have like somewhere between a 7 and a 9 hour photo period of white. And I'll probably cut that down to 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll cut it down by at least an hour or a half an hour for the first week and then another half an hour the second week and eventually get it down to where it's only legitly like a 6-hour white light photo period.
Yeah, and then you can also watch what goes on and see what the effect is. If you see noticeably less algae, provided you're not doing anything else to add confusion to it, if you just try the one thing at a time, you'll be able to tell. JB Aquatics runs 20% whites for 4 hours and just blues after that. Yeah.
I didn't even think about cutting my percentage down. Wow, I'm a rookie. Thanks.
And also, Aquarium Cabinet Solutions says make your own food too, because then you know what goes in it. If you want to try frozen, you can get seafood.
I mean, if I had my own little personal fridge that was over here or somewhere where I could put all that stanky fish food and not clog up the fridge space for the wife, I'd be more inclined to do that. But
if you get like scallops and clams, and if you have access to that in your grocery store, you can freeze the stuff, and it's not stinky.
Well, when I make it, it'd be kind of stinky, and the house might be fishy for a couple hours. But my main concern is taking up freezer space.
Yeah.
Because my box of silver sides for the anemone is quite big.
Yep.
Like you could probably put 3 packs of hot dogs in its place.
Yeah.
So and she's not too happy that it's still in the fridge because that could be hot pocket space.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sit down, Bubba.
We're always competing for space.
Okay, Gabriel, then you can pick up a controller and play. Thank you, my son. All
right. Well, I think I'm going to say farewell, everybody. It's 4:30 p.m. So it's been 3.5 hours, and I find myself getting tired
and hungry.
and well, that's true. And that's when I start slurring my words and not sounding very good.
Grown.
Yeah. Exactly.
We got this thing around here. It's called we're hangry.
Yeah.
Hungry and angry.
Yeah, that very well could be. Well, the thing is, the time goes by so fast, and then before I know it, it's at like 3 hours. I'm going, whoa, no wonder I'm starting to feel a little a little bit lightheaded because I probably should have had some lunch, but I was running
You should have
behind.
had lunch and then started.
Well, and so I was running behind today, so I really didn't have time for it, but that's okay. Anyhow, thanks, guys. I really appreciate all the time you spent here today. Cue Balls, nice to see you and your tank. And True Skills is great to chat, and hit Nick up at Aquarium Cabinet Solutions and see what suggestions he might have for
Gotcha.
you. That's his business, so he'll have some stuff up his sleeve that wouldn't ever occur to me, and he'll know the questions to ask you about the situation where he'll be able to fill you in on the impact of some things. So
Pick up what I'm not, or be able to pick up with, stuff that I haven't got the knowledge for. Right? I'm always keen for that.
yeah, or maybe it's never happened before for you, and it's a learning thing, right? Because when
Yeah.
something happens and we got to solve a problem, it's always something we can learn from.
I think the only true problem I've ever had was a little bit of cyano.
Yeah.
Because I tend to keep my tanks as basic as possible. I try to most biological filtration feasible without taking anything out of the tank, even if it's just water movement out of the I don't like it.
Yeah.
So more chances for stuff to end up on the floor.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. All right. All right, guys. Once again, thank you. And thanks to everybody in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for making it this far. And next week's stream will be Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm kind of wondering, maybe this summer we might just go once a month on the last Sunday, because this has been really good. It seems to be a good time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So have a good night, everybody, and stay
Thank
safe.
you for having me.
Thank you for spending the time. I really do appreciate it.
Not a problem. Knowledge is always good.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay.